Hello, everybody, and welcome into the final week of Stage 3 of the Call of Duty Challengers Elite Series. This is the last couple of days for this season. We have Seasons 4 and 5 coming up, but we have to get through playoffs and crowning a champion each region for Europe and North America in the next 2 days. I'm Spaceman, that is Fox and Alley, and we will be taking you through all of the action here today, tomorrow, and all. There is so much to talk about, not only with just the build-up into the finals, but all the different changes these teams have gone through from the start of week 1 all the way till now and how the meta has adapted. But I'm going to start off with Fox. Welcome in, brother. How you doing, and are you excited for this week's action?
I'm feeling good, man. We got a lot to talk about unfolding in just the last few days alone, right? Lots of roster changes going on in North America. In Europe, of course, we have knockout matches going on just at this moment, and we're going to hop into them shortly. But I'm looking forward to see what you guys think about the week.
Allie, you've been on fire this season with your predictions. Apparently, you're just seeing things differently than everybody else. I want to know, how are you feeling about this week? Are you confident in the predictions going down?
I'm super confident, and we're getting to the final wire of the season and seeing what really these players can do and what they can show up and do in these final couple of matches. And on the knockouts alone, I mean, it's just been surprising. I feel like teams have shown up in places we haven't expected them to, so it's definitely been an exciting week of Call of Duty.
And what better way to get a look at how all that's played out than through the standings themselves, because so far for Europe, it has been a surprising one. Sure, you got Elevate in second place, formerly known as our Season 2 champions, and yes, Mavericks, who have been resurging back up into the top 3 conversation. Orglis has had a bit of a tumultuous run here in Stage 3, but it's got to be Amelia Strays in first place, the ghost of the group, the dark horse that's come out of nowhere, 6-1, 19-6 in map count. Fox, I mean, talk to me about this team. They have come out of nowhere. They barely lose. They've only lost once, and now they sit at number 1 in their group, and that means they're going to get promoted to next season.
Yep, Amelia Strays and Elevate awaiting their matchups here. I mean, we've gotten to see Watson really take charge and be a big part of the success that Amelia Strays has been able to find. I'm looking forward to see how the rest of the EU region unfolds, as Maverick, of course, like you said, just coming off with their most recent matchup for the day.
Yeah, and I accidentally misspoke. It was Elevate who came in second place in that Season 2 finals, but they were able to take a couple of open events, and they've quickly found themselves in the top of the conversation in Europe. And looking at the schedule for today, Allie, I just got to know, right? We've seen a couple of matchups, and for the bracket on screen, Mavericks won 3-1 over Team War. It was a close one. We were watching it off stream, and it went the distance essentially every map, but finally Mavericks closed it out. They play Orglis, who just won in their Game 5. What are you expecting out of this first matchup for Mavericks versus Orglis? And then down on the elimination round, War and 3G. Did you expect these teams to be in this situation?
Well, the thing about Mavericks is, like I said, me and you together had watched their match earlier, and against Team War, it didn't feel like the Mavericks were all firing on all cylinders. It definitely felt like they had a lot of hiccups here and there. They were able to close it out in the end, but I'm worried going into this next match, should they not come out on top of their game, because they'll definitely start struggling as we get into later further games of the bracket.
Well, we already have the first matchup ready and waiting for us. It's going to be Fox and myself taking you through all the action. So, Allie, we thank you for your contributions so far today in the stream. But, Fox, I mean, we look at Orglis, we look at Mavericks who had a close couple of hard points in their last series today against War. They did take it 3-1. It went to a round 11 in that Game 2 S&D. But for Orglis, this is formerly known as our Season 2 finalists, the champions of the Elite Series in Season 2. They had a very slow start and a slow progression through this Season 3. I mean, is it just a nature of the game beginning to develop in different ways and the meta changing, or are teams just starting to figure out each other?
It's very much a little of both, right? The game's only going to get harder, especially as the prize money climbs. Everybody today in the European region are playing for their share of $50,000. The competition's just going to get tougher. These guys are scrimming hours and hours on end each day, even just before the tournament loads up. So you know they're coming in hot. Right off the bat, though, we do see Orglis taking that initial lead. Mavericks looks to make the first lead change here as they're able to maintain control of the hardpoint. The next push is coming down, though, as Harry is able to connect with some big shots from downrange. Vortex with 2 of his teammates to pump the brakes on that push. So we should see Mavericks able to rebound here as Yako picks up 2.
And watching the last series for Mavericks, I mean, the biggest standout really was Sukri, that 1v2 on Moscow S&D, able to clutch up in around 11. They gave them the 2 advantage. They go on to drop the control, but they closed things out relatively easily in the last couple of hills in that hard point. It looks scary. They got pushed to the brink, but they're able to survive. And the winner of this series will go on to tomorrow, where they will play in the single elimination bracket for a chance to be crowned your Season 3 Elite Series champions. But into this game, at least the start of this series so far, it's just been about back and forth on the first couple of hills, and we sit in P2 now with 20 seconds to go. You're looking at Mavericks with a decent hold, and they've gotten that off the start. They had control of top green. They haven't relinquished any time, and they're building a solid lead.
Eric Boom, player number 7, deathless so far, is going to be the first one in the action against Josh here on the new hard point. He's been playing for these score streaks. Let's see if he's able to stay alive as they play a game of cat and mouse around the satellite. Tagged up, bloody ready. Still got the 74U in hand. Great advantage as he puts the final shots that he needed into the back of Josh. Still 5-0. On the opposite side, Vortex yet to find a kill. His team trails by 20 seconds, but has the initial time for the hard point.
Usually you see P2 more contested than what it was, as Mavericks got basically a full 60, and you have Josh working through the back, so it looks like they're setting up for spawns behind as Orglis understand the situation they're in, try to build a decent lead in the first set of rotations. If not, contest as much as possible. Eric Boone was a standout in the previous series, now 6-1, having a great start to today, and this is when it's most necessary. But Yako on your screen will have trophies out, so nades will not be affecting this front push with 24 seconds to go, Fox. We look at the rotation now on the bottom side of your minimap. Both teams still pushing all 4 numbers for a contest, and no one's gotten a solid lead on this P3.
Right, Mavericks spawned up so close to the hard point, they opted to just fight through the back and maintain control of the scrap time rather than sending that early rotation. You see the closest one to it is going to be Yako. Scrap time will go to the guys in blue. That's Mavericks. Our white arrows for the sides of Orglis are already taking point. As you can see, Vortex gets that initial time. Not met with too much resistance, as the Mavericks players are still pouring in from the old hard point.
And the very last thing you want to do if you're Orglis moving down to the floor on P4 is give up green control. So you can see Nasty sitting up ready and waiting, sub in hand, but they have to keep him alive because that makes at least breaking the front of the hill that much easier. Nades will fly out, Harry's going to team up, try to be the guardian angel with the AR, and Vortex and the opposite of lights. Here comes the pinch through the middle of the map. Super can't stay alive for long, numbers quickly fall, but Mavericks have been able to find a way to stay alive inside the hill, and Sukri just playing his life appropriately, throwing shoulders to get information. Eric Boom gets the call, he goes up for the cleanup, and only 11 shots in the clip. He might be able to make it work, will do so, finds 1 kill, everyone falls, and what a phenomenal hold from Mavericks on P4.
That it is 10 seconds left to it. Looks like the time is going nowhere. The initial rotation for this next hard point is what's most important. And you see all 4 blue arrows swarming around it, but one might have slipped through the cracks. And we're looking through the eyes of Josh here. Let's see what he can do with this position, because I think they might have sniffed him out. They do find him. 3 straight as Mavericks wipe the board and take control of the hard point. The initial 10 seconds go straight to them as Yako also collects 5 kills, trying to make it 6 all on his own as he preys on the remaining Orglis players up off of their spawn.
Used to be kind of a sentiment we all shared here on the desk that if you're able to shut down Vortex and Nasty, you're going to have a relatively easy day against Orglis, because that's put so much pressure on Josh and Harry, obviously, to be able to pick up the slack. That front duo aggressiveness that Vortex and Nasty bring. Vortex currently 6-14, not having the greatest start, but on the other end, Mavericks have gotten a solid lead, 70 points in counting, 141-70. Again, we look at the rotation back to P1. We've already cleaned up the 5th hill. And with 10 seconds to go, Mavericks have been able to win these kind of staggered rotations one at a time on offense. Then they just sit inside, play their life. Everyone gets kills on the outside of the hill. And so far, so good. So we go back to our second set of hills now. And Fox, we sit on P1, a hill that's usually highly contested. But last time we were here, it was Mavericks were able to dominate the start and then get to P2 set up. And that's what Super's doing early off the start.
Oh, Super, no, they didn't check the corner. Super looking through between the cracks of satellite right there. He's able to catch them through arches, wait patiently, and find the perfect shot that connects for 2 kills. He ends up moving towards middle map before being shut down, but still he awarded Mavericks some stellar positioning here on the middle of the map. As you see, the kill feed still all dominated by these blue players. I mean, the submachine gun from Yako, Sukri, Eric Broom, Super, it's just been way too much for Orglis to handle. You mentioned it yourself, Spaceman. Vortex spent the first part of this game 0-6 and just found much of his kills in the last 2 hard points on the map. So it's been a really tough fight for Orglis as they trail now by over 100 seconds.
You know, you're joining in and you're wondering, okay, this is for a chance to go into tomorrow and play in the playoff bracket and get a chance to compete for the title. You'd think things would be a little bit more exciting, but Mavericks are playing this hardpoint almost to perfection. It just has not been super impressive on the opposite end. Even though they lose rotation sometimes, they're just pushing the front of the hill. They're not flushing out the spawn, so they're not losing position on the map. Sukri on your screen with help from Yako as streaks come in. They clear out the front. They have control of top green. Nasty going to try to fight for a position, but Sukri swiftly cuts him down. Mavericks 2-0-2 and counting. This is just about as textbook hardpoint as you could possibly play on Garrison. And man, they are making it look easy with just a couple more hills to go before they find the win.
That they are. Mavericks looking to just put more dirt on top of it here. 30 seconds separate them from victory. 20 seconds remain on the hard point that looks pretty much unbreakable up to this point. All players on the side of Orglis way too far out of range to disrupt it, but you still see them collecting important kills in the rotation. That's 3 in a row as we get to the next point. Orglis getting that initial time should be great for them, but when you're staring at a deficit this great, you have to imagine that morale has been flattened. We probably have a very weakened Orglis roster right here at this point in the map.
Yeah, I mean, you lose game one, it's certainly difficult. And if you're wondering what the story was for Mavericks in their prior series against Team War, well, they had commanding leads in the hard points, then they relinquished that. They were up like 121-12 against War on Checkmate hardpoint. It was then 162-162 in a matter of moments. So Mavericks already coming off of a very easier start here. Mavericks are not relinquishing the lead, and more importantly, they're building upon it. Finally, Orglis will cross the 100-point mark, but Fox, it's 237-104. Surely, this comeback is not likely unless Mavericks completely throw the game.
They would have to play a whole different game of Call of Duty here, and that's assuming that Mavericks can't just step up for 13 seconds and close out the game. We're looking at a very well-oiled machine here so far in Map 1 for the side of Mavericks. Orglis coming off of a grueling victory against 3G, where it goes all the way to Game 5. You have to imagine these guys are warmed up, they are here to play, but really Mavericks are just giving it to them as they hop right back in the hard point, looking to close things out here. Josh is hoping to be a difference maker, but you see at range, he's put down, cut short. Mavericks, they're able to close out Map 1.
Well, that was not even close, not even remotely a contest. The Mavericks just absolutely controlled the start, they controlled the mid-game, and they controlled the final positioning when it came to just mid-map pressure, right? Recognizing the spawns out for Orglis, and from there, so letting it past the 50-yard line, you're more than happy to give up scrap time on that last P2 hill, so that when you, P3, so then when you set up for P4, I mean, you're sitting at top green and catwalk, you're just going to mow them down as they run off spawn. Well done by Mavericks, easy across the board. Fox, I mean, there are sometimes, right, you're casting Call of Duty and it's pretty uneventful. It's just very one-sided. The entirety of that game was under Mavericks control. Was there ever a moment where you're looking at Orglis and saying, okay, here comes the comeback?
Yeah, you say it was uneventful. I'd say it was incredibly eventful on one side of this game. Mavericks was just walking straight through them. I mean, the submachine guns, unstoppable. They're able to hug these nerdy corners and just wait because they had Orglis read like a book, really, from start to finish. I think that we should expect to see in this highlight reel is just Mavericks putting the hurt on from the opening engagements all the way to the end. You'll see kill-less players on the side of Orglis weren't able to contribute in a great way, and that certainly led to the great deficit that they ended up dealing with by the midpoint of this map.
And one of the key takeaways certainly has to be the amount of gunfights that were won on the outside of the hill. So we didn't see a lot of intermittent trading, right? We didn't see a lot of big 2 pieces, 3 pieces that broke open a hold. It was clean setups for Mavericks, and they were keeping the opposite ARs outside of the point. So you're just playing one-on-one gunfights, and with the confidence this team currently has after their last win, it rolled through this hard point. They made it look easy. They didn't give up the lead. They continued to build off each hill. Many times you'll see teams jump out to an early lead, Fox, and then they start to wither a little bit. They start to get brought back, and then all of a sudden the game gets really close in the end. That was never the situation for Mavericks. They continued to get 20, 30 points here and there. They continued to push them throughout that game 1. Now we go to an S&D where the last time they played a game 2, it went to round 11. So if you're an Orglis fan, you're certainly hoping for that scenario, and hopefully it comes out your way. But for Mavericks, starting off another series on a hot 1-0, do you see this one going the distance, Fox, or will we be looking at a 1-1 series?
It really depends on how Orglis is able to respond to Maverick and you know, whether or not Maverick can have that longevity to make them go all the way to another Game 5, right? Orglis has been playing for a long time today, and it seems like it's only going to get more difficult. You mentioned that kind of tendency that some teams can have when they have that big lead is to kind of wither away in the end of the game and let it slip. Right, what we need out of them is some unbridled growth. See them see the map to its conclusion. So we can go ahead and take a look at the rest of this series as it unfolds in front of us. The hardpoint was going to be a Garrison hardpoint, won, of course, by the side of Mavericks. Now we're heading over to Miami, Florida for Search and Destroy. That's going to be Game 2, Raid, Moscow, Checkmate, all different maps for each map in this series space. Which one are you most excited for?
So what you're telling me, Fox, is that we've had Express in rotation for about a month now, and we still can't get it on this stream? I am losing it. I need Express at some point. Please, guys. Over there across the pond. What's going on? I understand Miami, but come on, man.
How about literally every other map? How does that sound? We can do that. Hopping into Miami, Florida, Search and Destroy. Looking at Mavericks, who just came off of a colossal win in the hardpoint. Orglis again coming off of a long Game 5, and this one, if Mavericks keep it up, they might go the distance once again.
I mean, listen, I see Raid and I'm happy, and you bring up the fact that Orglis went to a Game 5. Yeah, they won it, and you would expect them to be a little bit more warmed up as they went into that hard point. But, like, what did we say about last 2 weeks ago? That's a sentence. What did we say 2 weeks ago, Fox? Raid somehow has a way of kind of neutralizing things and getting everybody back into the right mindset and kind of equalizing a series. Right? It's like pouring water on a chemical solution. It just kind of neutralizes everything in the
It's home.
So
that's home.
It just is, man. Like, if you're having a bad series and you go to Raid, it has a way of being able just to kind of recalibrate the team. And so if you're a fan of Mavericks, you are very much hoping for a 2-0 series lead. For Orglis, best case scenario, steal this S&D, send it to Raid. At that point, it's anybody's series. And as we wait for this one to kick off, I mean, we go to Miami, which we understand can be a bit unpredictable when it comes to the different routes people will take through the middle of the map. But what you don't want to do is have a Kismet situation where you constantly get flanked and then your ARs are uncomfortable sitting in the back. So for Orglis, it really has to come down to the sub pressure in the back alley for me. You got to look at Nasty and Vortex. They have to have a better Game 2 than they had Game 1. And again, Josh has to be able to answer back to Eric Boom, who we expect to be running an AR in hand. Sukri's been on fire today. I mean, this is a very, very big map too, Fox.
Oh, absolutely. They were untouchable in that statement of a Game 1. We'll have to see how that pace and how those abilities carry over to Search and Destroy as we switch off of our respawn game modes. Not a whole lot to go off of in terms of strategy on Miami here for these two matchups, but do you have any kind of players that stand out to you in particular? For me personally, it is going to be Josh. That's someone that's always the mastermind in this game mode, but is there anyone in this lobby that's standing out to you in this matchup space?
I mean, I got to look at Eric Boom. I know that he was running a sub in Game 1, but I expect him to have an AR in this S&D, and I think the ARs on Miami are the most crucial when it comes to a team's offensive success, right? The ability to get the bomb up in a favorable position, your post-plant positioning, especially controlling the beachfront, right? So many times we see the AR sitting in visitor center, and if they get picked, the entire hold collapses. So I got to look at Eric Boom, at least for the key player going into this Game 2, but we look at the rest of the series. You got Raid, Moscow, and then Checkmate coming up. So this is going to be an interesting one because Checkmate was the favored map in the last series for Mavericks. For Orglis, we didn't get to see them. They were off stream, unfortunately, but I got to tell you, man, I'm looking forward to the control coming up after this, but this is a big matchup for Orglis as well. Again, this team won Season 2 finals. They were your champions of Europe last season for the Elite Series. They're currently on the verge of being sent to the lower bracket, and they have not looked like they are in championship form, at least for the start of Week 3.
That's right. These are some of the best players in the region, not off to a good start. And I want to talk a little bit about Mavericks and what we're seeing from them at this moment. I think we got to credit someone named Coach Tora, of course, contributing to the Mavericks roster. We saw even in their victories earlier today and yesterday, some of the players really shouting out the improvements that they've been able to make since he has joined the team. So, you know, having that fifth pair of eyes is so helpful when you're trying to work out exactly something like this, trying to take down one of the toughest teams in your region. That's Orglis. This is a team you better have done your homework against.
I think it usually goes overlooked how much a coach contributes to a team's synergy and their ability to read through different situations and progressions on the map. So shout out to him, as he's been able to certainly bring this team back from iffy situations and being able to compile such a young group of talent into the position they're currently in to possibly compete for a championship is nothing to sneeze at. So far, no first bloods will drop for anyone except for Mavericks as Super does fall. And Sukri, again, sitting in that top part of visitor center, will jump out with the AR. Now you look at the bomb going down as Vortex will get the plant, but will he stay alive? Probably not for long.
So Sukri moving up onto this site. He saw the objective being planted, was not able to respond to it though, as Vortex is going to be able to put him down. Site remains in control of Orglis as well as the middle of the map. They shut it down just that easy after the post-plant positioning. And Orglis takes the first round in this S&D space. We kind of mentioned the ARs and how important they're going to be on this A site here. What we saw was a very quick takeover, and even the bomb planted Vortex got away with a kill.
Yeah, if you're going to go to A, sometimes the best call is just for a quick plant. And if you get it down, numbers fall quickly around that site. On the back alley at B, most of the time you're looking at post-plant positioning, and then it's usually 3v3, 2v2 situations where it's a little bit slower on the retake. Not so much at A. So a good start for Orglis, recalibrating in this game too and resetting the bearings because it was a very, very quick game one. We'll see if they're warmed up now. Eric Boom on your screen, going to play through the top of piano. Has a couple of numbers in front. Trades are there for both. Everyone falling quickly, and now it's a 2v2 as Josh will get lines of sight onto Sukri. Sukri throws some shots back, but no one will fall.
Lots of back and forth here, but in the end, Mavericks is not able to get the bomb on site. It currently needs to be recovered by Sukri and Super, who don't have all of the information that they would love to have about the whereabouts of the remaining players on the B site. One player working through it. That's going to be Super. Sukri gets tagged up on middle map. Very dangerous. If he dies alone, that could be a Super in a world of trouble here, as well as his flank that's unfolding. It looks like Harry might have slipped behind him and has a perfect line of sight towards the bomb site.
And he was jumping up on the van. No questions asked. Harry with a perfect read. Bombs down. Now you regroup at the middle of the map, but you're going to get challenged. Super. Isolating gunfights. Great nade. He's able to win the gunfight regardless. Here comes the collapse from the middle of the map. Super now in a 1v1. Josh on the other end. Oh, COD timing. You are such a beautiful thing. Josh stands no chance, and Mavericks will get the round.
Yeah, very unfortunate timing there. You can tell Josh saw this play coming. He saw this pathing coming, but the AR player planted his feet, aimed down sight, and just ended up playing the waiting game a bit longer. So on the site right there, we saw a lot of the trades going down around Piano because having control of that part of the map and that balcony is so important. You saw things really started to unfold once the player on balcony was shot down by Harry.
Great response out of Mavericks. They have this keen ability today. I don't know if it's just today or in general, but they clutch 1v2s pretty regularly. So if you have numbers on this team, you better group up and find a way to close out the round. Three-man hit to the opposite end. They're going to go to the beachfront. One scouting is Harry, and we've seen this AR position many times from many different teams. If no one's spotted at Piano, you wait for a long rotation or you go for a quick plant. One of the two. We'll see if they have numbers here, but it's a 4 stack on the opposite end, and Mavericks should be able to read this relatively quickly. No one's crossed through the middle of the street, so if you don't see anyone in the alley, you should know they're crossing to A as that bomb goes down.
Bomb goes down. Vortex will also have his own trophy system support to hold down the beach setup that it looks like Orglis is preferring to take here. One player way off in the distance is Sukri, overlooking anyone that might step a foot out of position. Nasty has the support over the shoulder from the back line. As he tags up Sukri, they now have the information of where he's playing on the site, which does give Vortex a bit more to do. Shots down range as he connects with enough to stop him. The trade comes through, though, as Super, with a huge headshot. So far, no response. Is trying to get into a better position with only 13 seconds left on the clock. Nasty stops the bomb defuse. One more to follow it up. It's Super. And again, they're not able to get to the objective, and you see bombs should be able to detonate here shortly.
Oh, man, you think it's difficult trying to defuse that bomb with no numbers on the beachfront? Try doing it when there's 3 members of Orglis watching the same site. That is difficult. They weren't able to move through the middle of the map. They weren't sure where Josh and Harry might be. Well, even though Josh is in the back of the boat, Harry's not going to move out of Tiki unless he's lashed alive and just has to go for a quick peek. And it was a decent retake from Mavericks, but just not enough. And well done by Orglis on the positioning to hold that defensive line and get the round.
Up to this point, as we head into our 4th round, Yakko so far killless. We saw he was a huge threat throughout the hardpoint. Of course, just in the early stages of the search and destroy, not seeing a lot of the same. Super, however, tied for most kills in the lobby at 3. as the team splits up 2-2 towards both the A site and the B bomb site. They're going to be met with a nearly empty beach. Josh will still be at the top of A, but the players on site at B had better be careful because they are outnumbered on offense.
Yeah, you don't usually see a 2-2 split unless one player rotates over through the back of the map and then they meet up with their partner, and at that point then it's a 2-2, but it's more of a staggered push as Harry's able to cut down one from the back. He might have spotted Eric, and if he did, well, that's great, but Eric wins a key gunfight to keep himself alive and give his team a chance in this round. 2-1 lead for Orglis, might be 2-2 quickly as Eric Boom is still alive. Josh out of position. And the defense for Orglis quickly crumbling on the site is now they spread out, and Nasty doesn't want to get picked, but you have numbers to move. Josh will get cut down. Trades are there. 2v1. Mavericks have the bomb, and they have the plant.
Nasty way off in the Mavericks spawn. Will be approaching through middle map. Not a great spot to be in when you got AR players watching you like a hawk. Super connects with some shots and makes him hop behind the emergency van. The Semtex detonating right beneath his feet as well. He's in a world of trouble right now as he's tagged up from both sides, and Mavericks tied up at 2-2.
That was a hell of a nade. That thing came from absolutely nowhere. But a good round. Eric Boom playing the right positioning. On the opposite end, they get the bomb down. They do their job. And we have it all tied up. I mean, even there, you just kind of look at the early trades for both teams, right? Eric Boom able to stay alive, wins a big gunfight at the bottom of Piano. He gets to middle map unscathed, unchallenged, unnoticed. Gets all the way back to his side of the field, and then there you just kind of play numbers, get the bomb down, force the opposition to move up and go for the defuse. They're not able to do so. And Orglis have been picked apart in a couple of rounds.
And that's right. And you're looking through the eyes of the man that did it himself. Eric Boom finds himself on a 5 streak. Yako still killless up to this point, but that might be because Eric Boom and Super are hogging them all to themselves. 9 kills total for the team. We got Yako with a flank, opening it up with a double kill. Great way to get on the board. He's also able to protect the bomb, the dropped bomb around the B bomb site. So these two players inside the garage here space, Yako and Eric Boom know exactly where they're at, and they are trapped. Josh and Harry are in an awful position.
Yako on the flank, like that'll get you a couple kills, get yourself on the board, and now you just don't move out of position. Bombs down. You've isolated where they should be. We're jumping in the water. This is either the greatest play of all time or the worst one, as Sukri has an idea that they might be overextending through the back. Now, what's the decision? How long can you stay down here? We haven't seen this really ever. If they spot Sukri, they won't. They guess they're just going to take each other out. That's how it works. And okay, that was a call. It doesn't work out. Mavericks get the round.
Yeah, they were trapped back there, knowing it's the end of the round, end up betraying one another to end this round. Mavericks, the double kill from Yako's flank really opened things wide open for them to just have the advantage for the rest of that round. With the bomb dropping on the top of the balcony, you know, you lose that high ground advantage and the objective at the same time. That's a climactic moment right there.
And the decision had to be just to not feed Eric's streaks. I mean, you know that Mavericks were saying, okay, if we spot him, Eric, get over here right now. He's getting closer and closer to that artillery. And he'll work through the back of B. Shots ring out, but no first blood. Bomb carrier Yako, 2 and 4, was able to hit the flank successfully in the last round. Nades fly out. There's a trophy up there, but at least you have the information that numbers from Orglis will be stacking in the top of Piano. So there's at least 2. You understand that you have a chance to win a big trade and get numbers in a favorable position for the plan. Now it just comes down to whether the execution will be there and what the call is, but they're taking a little bit too long for my liking.
Yep, Yako, you know you got 2 upstairs, no support on the inside. The whole rest of the map to explore here, as the call is to leave the B bomb site and make moves towards A. They will be met by one player for the side of Orglis. That's Josh, who I'm sure is no stranger to calling a rotation when it needs to happen. Nasty opening things up with a kill onto Eric Boom is big for the decision making, because now they use this opportunity to pounce. They're sending 3 players through middle map, potentially on a flank, to pinch the offensive front that we're seeing set up on beach.
You either had to hit a team hit through Piano or go for a very quick rotation. They take too long on both, and now you can't even get bombed down as it's out of position. No man's lane currently. Nasty gonna see Sukri gonna get cut. 3v1, bomb can't go down, and that is a situation where Mavericks needed to make a decision a little bit quicker. 2 options, didn't pick either. And a great hold from Orglis on the defensive end, just saying, hey, they have to make the play. We're going to wait to see what they do, and we will capitalize on their mistake.
That they do, and we are all knotted up again, once again at 3-3. If you are just joining us, we're seeing a back and forth S&D after what was a very one-sided affair in the Mavericks' victory on hardpoint. So seeing both teams really challenge one another here is definitely thrilling as we get to this midpoint. Harry is looking for that cross down range, not able to spot a whole lot of action. On the B bomb side is where it might be unfolding here, as we're seeing 4 players outnumber the defensive side of Mavericks. Yako spots some ankles. Can he connect with the shots? He's able to put Josh down. No follow-up, no trade as Yako gets away with his life. Shots rain down from the top of the balcony, but it's still not, and it's just enough to find a kill as Harry's able to follow it up with a headshot. Eric Boom, though, is there for the trade. The remaining players on balcony are now scrambling.
Yeah, Eric Boom was in such a tough spot, but he's able to dip and dive his way out of dodge. Nasty. Gonna try to even things up. He will. 2v2. Bomb carrier, Vortex. They're all in the back alley, but Vortex is just running with it. He's going right through middle map. This is either ballsy or horrible. I don't know if he got spotted. He must have been spotted. He wasn't. Nasty. Guardian Angel. Super. Playing through the top. We'll see if he finds anything.
Trophy
Opposite
system
end.
access as well here for some defense. They don't have to go anywhere. Super's got to come out of the nest here soon. You know the pressure's mounting. Super knows that the clock is ticking and he's got to make a move. He's hoping that the remaining players on Orglis will set up some sort of a play, get too aggressive, but they're not giving up any of the ground they've already claimed for themselves.
They know where he is. There's absolutely zero reason to move out of position. If you're Orglis, you absolutely know where where Super is. You just play time. Yep. You're not going to see either team really give much. Vortex will get spotted, but it won't really amount to anything. As a round will go to Orglis, they'll take it, and they'll be up 4-3. And I was just shocked that Mavericks did not spot Orglis rotating through the middle of the map. And as quickly as they might have, they get cut down from the alley. Well done on the rotation, and here it is. Surely Super should have seen, but he chose to go through the bottom of visitors instead of just going right to the site. It was the right decision, but it gave up the intel. And well played by Orglis.
That's right. Super did end up surviving there, unlike Eric Boom, who met that fate of being shot down middle map with the AR. But of course, losing that line of sight was crucial to the conclusion of that round, as we see 2 players on the offensive side for Mavericks making their way towards the bomb site. 2 are sat on flank. That's going to be Sukri and Eric Boom. We'll check in on them again, as it looks like the action might be unfolding directly on top of the A site here. Bomb carrier is the closest one to the action. That's Yako, with Josh just around the corner. And Super as well for support is already tagged up red. He knows where his gun engagement is at down range with Josh and Nasty. He can't quite finish the job. It's certainly one of the harder ones on the map. I think you would agree with that one, Space. This gunfight is tough.
Yep, and not only did Orglis grab the lead, but they kept Boom off streaks, which is huge. We know how open A can be, so if they were on offense and they chose to put the bomb down, I mean, you're basically looking at a free win. You play those streaks correctly. It's a double win for Orglis. No first blood. Might be in a minute. Vortex able to escape. Harry cuts down Sukri. That's not great, as now the bomb tries to collapse in. But you're looking at a 4v2, and Vortex could just play his shoulder. And Josh should get the call. They might be rotating over. This is a perfect round for Orglis again. Cut off at mid-map. Isolated, siphoned to precision. 5-3. Orglis in a very good position to take game 2.
That's right. That 4 versus 2 situation, it's never a good spot to be in when you can see the bomb is down on the ground in front of the enemy. So, of course, from that moment on, very quick to close it out. We saw both teams really fishing for that first blood in the first minute or so. The AR players kind of going tit for tat, tagging each other up at a distance, but nothing really came to be too intense until we came to the closing moments of the round. Next up, we have Orglis at map point, and also on their next offensive attempt with Vortex on a 3-streak. Excuse me, Nasty on a 3-streak.
I mean, since having a hot start, Boom has gone, I think, 2 rounds now without a kill. 6-5. Yako at 3-7. Sukri at 2-7. And you have 3 members from Orglis really pushing through Tiki. So Sucres has all the information here. If he gets the call and he can let the rest of his team know they need to rotate, he needs help. This is such a tough position to give up. Now beach control is there for Orglis. Yes, Super is in the top of visitors, but he gets ripped by Nasty. I mean, that call from Mavericks has to come in sooner. You need the rotation as a team. And now you've given up all of the left side of the map and complete site control to Orglis.
That's right, Orglis, the swarm is closing in. 25 seconds remain, but they are still up 4-2. Bomb will go down, not peacefully, though, as Eric Boom is able to snatch him off of the site. Still outnumbered is he, as Nasty finds Yakko. They're scrambling, still outnumbered, and shut down Orglis. Finds the map 2 victory at 6-3. We were tied up 3-3 at the midpoint of this game, and we saw them come together and close it out in pretty decisive round space.
Yeah, those last 3 rounds that Orglis were able to take, Mavericks looked absolutely lost, like completely confused on the map. Even there, you had Sukri in the boat, right? He understands 2 players are coming through Tiki. That's when you let your team know, hey, rotate to the middle of the map, come help me, because we have a chance to take on site and keep them from pushing the bomb up. He gets taken out of position, then 1 more staggers up through the middle of the map. They get taken down, so 4v2, you've lost beachfront completely. You've lost all control. Fox, those last 3 rounds, I mean, Mavericks just looked absolutely clueless when it came to figuring out how they wanted to play both on offense and how they needed to respond to the pressure on defense. They just didn't know what to do.
That's right. I mean, they just could not get through whatever plan Orglis had already had set up for them. I mean, there were some explosive moments, like we mentioned, Yakko's double kill that put him on the board and let them close out one of their more decisive rounds. But especially in the later stages of the game, it was really just Orglis coming together and having stellar map positioning and not letting anything slip, right? Every mistake that Mavericks made was punished.
Yeah, and Mavericks were getting cut through the middle of the map. They were getting isolated in small gunfights that just were out of position, right? You saw them constantly rotating, getting shot in the back, trying to move up onto the site, getting shot in the side. So many times there were trades there for Orglis that Mavericks just could not capitalize on. And you see on your screen Yakko with a great kill inside Garage, which helped open up the site. But even then, Orglis brought it back. And once they got the lead, once they stopped Eric Boom from getting streaks when it was tied up 3-3, from there, constantly pressuring the site, putting good numbers in a position to win. And now we move to control in game 3, and it'll be on raid. So again, you know, a good response from Orglis, but for Mavericks, this is not only a much needed quick break between games 2 and 3, but a much needed map, because raid has a way of neutralizing everything. And here's the layout of the series. We got Moscow hardpoint, which we will be going to. And if we go to a game 5 S&D, it will be on Checkmate. But Fox, thoughts so far on the early start of this series? It looked like Mavericks and the respawns were composed, they were competent, they were, you know, executing their strats effectively. Everyone was contributing and trading out. In the S&D, a little bit more worse for wear, but now we go to control. What are you expecting in this game?
I have to say I like where this is going. Orglis is coming back to life. We're seeing this this championship caliber team from the European region really start clicking here in Challenger Series. I'm looking forward to see if Mavericks can continue putting up the fight that we saw them put in hardpoint in the opening moments of the Search and Destroy for game 2, or is just Orglis going to take this and run away with it at this point?
And I believe we might have a bug on screen for the moment because it says we have 4 lives remaining. That should just be 30 apiece, but numbers quickly fall, and we'll see how things work. Yeah, we're going to get a quick restart. I was thinking for a minute, wait a minute, did we update control? Because now it's a lot more tense, and I think that's not exactly how we want things to go. But anyway, we look at this game 3 coming up, and you look at raid, right, where again you're going to be looking at the ARs, you're going to be looking at players in the flex role. Again, I look at Sukri, who has a way through kitchen of just being a nuisance. I look at Eric Boom on the opposite end. Vortex and Nasty, when they light up, I look at Team War in the same way. When Lucky and Metals are having a great game, War can be one of the best teams in Europe. Unfortunately, Lucky's been having a great season, everyone else not so much. But with this Orglis roster, Nasty and Vortex, when they are popping off as a sub duo, they're almost impossible to stop. And you look at a map like Raid, where having an aggressive sub and a competent sub in the right angles can absolutely overtake power positions. This is very much a map and mode combo, Fox, where you need your subs to be able to be that dominant. Who are you picking in this game? I'm just gonna hit you with a prediction. Who are you taking?
I think that we could see the submachine gun players from Mavericks actually take them to victory in this map here. I think that overall we still see Orglis win this series in the end, but I do think that we're going to see a really competitive front from the side of Mavericks for this map.
Are you taking a game 5? Okay, you're a dangerous man. I think we might be going the distance. I mean, just looking at how Orglis' last series went against 3G and looking at how Mavericks have looked in S&D so far today, not super impressed, but the respawns have usually been a bit different. I'm a little bit more impressed with Mavericks' response in that first hard point, but now we go to, again, control on raid, and this is a map that can be very punishing. It's widely regarded as the best raid map for the raid map. Wow, the best control map for a reason because of how well it plays. And it's very symmetrical across the board, right? A lot of the steps you can pull on A and B, you can pull on opposite ends of the map. So we're going to be looking at mansion control. We're going to be looking at the spawns and back drive wire. Are they able to flood into spiral effectively? A lot of those small interconnected things that teams work on over and over again for the fundamentals of this map will come into play here. And as we wait for the game to get started, we'd love to know what you guys are thinking in the chat. You've been enjoying season 3 of the Elite series. So far, it's been exciting, man. A lot of the rosters that have worked out I didn't expect to, and a lot of the teams that have made themselves into at least this playoff bracket, Fox, especially North America. I don't think many of us expected kind of the top 6 to be where they are, but it's been an exciting season for season 3. There's been a lot of good changes in North America, and also showing that the meta of Cold War continues to develop even this late in the season.
That's right, and we're still seeing players this late in the season get picked up and move up to greater competition in the Call of Duty League. Of course, we're seeing Decimate recently picked up by the Surge. We're seeing Royalty in the Challenger Series recently leave Triumph Gaming. There's a lot going on at the Challenger Series level that has to do with how the competition feeds into the higher levels.
I mean, you look at Hydra, right? Like showing that the EU has it. The kid's an absolute animal. What he did with New York is nothing short of impressive. And let's just look at the bracket. Why not? We got you here anyway. You're basically stuck with us for the moment. So here's a look at what's coming up. Team War are currently up 2-0 over 3G, a matchup and a series score that I think many would have predicted. Mavericks and Orglis are going to be much closer contested, currently tied 1-1. You guys know the deal, but the winner of Team War and 3G will move on, and they will play the loser of this matchup, Mavericks versus Orglis. So whoever loses this has to go down and possibly play Team War, and if you're Mavericks, well, you already played them once. If you're Orglis, that's going to be a more interesting matchup. But I mean, Fox, you know, you win this series, you move on to tomorrow. You lose this, you get one more chance. This is a big matchup for both teams, because if you lose this, if you're Mavericks, you go down and play a team you've already played, but they've had your number all the way up until the very end of games, even though Mavericks were able to close it out. But do you think that we're going to be looking at a situation where Mavericks have a chance to be dropped down and then possibly get kicked out of the tournament and War come back and win it?
Oh, absolutely. Nobody's safe right now. When this much money's up for grabs, everyone is coming out and they're trying to play at their very best. We're seeing some teams right now like Orglis really heat up and start to play to the caliber that we're used to. Nobody's safe right now.
Yeah, and this has not been the strongest start for this Team War roster this season. I think a lot of people were underwhelmed by their performance, and you know, we're interested to see how the roster itself is able to respond to the lack of production, and if they have a good weekend here, maybe that changes all of the public persona. But for now, we're actually going to throw to a quick commercial break. We're waiting for some players to get in, all that kind of stuff. But until then, we will see you guys after the break, and when we come back, it's Control on Raid. You don't want to miss it. Welcome back, everyone. We hope you enjoyed your break. We did too, but we're back, and that means it's time for Game 3 on Control. This has been an interesting series, Fox, right? We look at the Game 1. Mavericks spent no time, no expense. They were going right through, winning every single hill. We go into the S&D. Things are a little bit more back and forth, a little bit more contested, and Orglis won the last 3 rounds pretty dominant fashion. Now we go into Raid Control on map 3. Winner of this goes up 2-1 in the series. I expect it to be highly contested.
That's right, Space. Things just got a whole lot more competitive in this matchup, Josh. We're finding him on a 2 streak at this point. Also with his foot in the hard point, hoping to make a difference here as they're making moves through Kitchen because they only have a few seconds remaining on her. Excuse me, as they make it through Circle, through Laundry, because they only have a few seconds to get to this tier 2 progress before the pressure ends up coming in from Laundry. And you see right there, Josh, his patience pays off. The player that slips by does not check top Laundry. He catches him right in the ribs. The trade comes through, though, as Sukri from downtown finds a headshot.
It was a little bit dangerous because Sukri got picked right out of bedroom, and then you're looking at a split into Spiral. But so far, I mean, you got numbers here for Orglis. They don't really have the life lead, but it's not necessary when Nasty's shooting like that. And goodbye, Super, 3 dead, and they will have a lockdown. And for the moment, we will put another minute on the clock. So there it goes. And now we look at the rotation over to the second point. Defensive spread there for Mavericks, but quickly and swiftly getting cut down. Vortex able to find 2. Might have done enough damage as you have 3 members from Orglis on the outside, pushing right up the gut. And it's Josh working through the outside of Kitchen. Won't spot Eric Boom, but you still have 3 members down, and Orglis have numbers inside.
B, as they make their progress through the first tier, one player's going to be dropping straight on their heads for money, quickly cut short. You got to imagine that's not going to be all that effective. Yakko, finding this kill on top Laundry, though, is going to award him with an AR in a stellar position to connect with the second kill. No one's home just yet to try and set up for this for the trade here, though, but he's not going to know that. He's just going to stick with his defense here as they try and figure out where exactly Orglis has spawned and where they might be coming from. They have a minute remaining to play defense on this B site here.
It's 11-11, 50 seconds to go. You're looking at 1 full hit from the back for Orglis, but the spread currently for Mavericks is pretty good. Eric Boom inside Tiki, Super on the opposite end, working with Yakko at Spire, or the pull steps. Nades fly out, but no one's there, and Vortex might get the call. If he does and gets cheeky, he could pick up 1, and then you just break by numbers, but you have to worry about shots on the opposite end. It's Super throwing a couple over. Josh takes down Sukri, so the front man inside the point gets cut. Eric Boom needs to stay alive. Is Sukri able to find Vortex? But through the back, it's Harry. Eric Boom able to find 1 more. 23 seconds to go, 9v8. We're looking at 1 more good push.
That was a tough one right there, too. We saw the submachine gun players were faced with so many long-range engagements on an offensive push, so you can imagine how difficult it would be for Orglis to try and complete that push. And we see Nasty still held at bay by the player in Kitchen, wasting just enough of his time to get to the point here. One player will slip through. That's Josh. He's connecting with some shots on top window, in the money window, excuse me. And he's able to set foot in the hard point just at the closing moments of this round. As they mount progress towards tier 2 and tier 3, they're all hopped on this and going for the commit.
Well, Orglis needed to stay in as a full team. They're not able to do it, and Mavericks fly out. They get just enough pressure inside the point to be able to take them out and play the time. And it was 6v5, and Orglis were set up inside, but just a couple of scattered gunfights and not a solid push as a team. The defense was good enough. They didn't have to work overtime, and Mavericks are able to take the first round. A bit of a sloppy start in this control for both teams, but the defense does their job for Mavericks. Now, they will be on the attacking end, and for Orglis, I mean, you've already had a hot start for Nasty and Vortex. Josh at 8 and 6. I mean, he's been doing his job in the objective. We'll see if it continues into round 2.
Sukri opening engagement here against Josh. Josh is going to come out on top, and he's still looking for blood with bullets through the walls. 2 headshots from the side of Orglis. Should be a quick stop to the offensive push from Mavericks. As you see, Nasty is going to take full advantage of this map influence they have at the moment, pushing them all back. He weaves in and out of art to find 1 kill and support for a second. Josh is going to be the one to finish that on middle map, and now the pressure's on towards Pool. Eric Boom caught up between 2 different players is stopped. Sukri also has to pump the brakes. He's tagged up red though and is able to find a kill. But once again, the trade always coming through. Orglis just playing off of one another as well as they can. Yakko opens up another window of opportunity with the double kill here. We'll have to see how Orglis responds, as it looks like the A point is well under attack with no one in range to defend it.
And that's the biggest couple of kills for this round. Mavericks now have free range to the middle of the map, but he gets a little bit over aggressive, and Vortex will punish him for it. You have numbers currently on A, and this should be the call. But Nasty's working through the back on the flank, so he might play spoiler. And nade flies out, but it was a team nade, and Eric Boom will take down Nasty. Trades are there, everyone falling. Somehow Sukri's still alive. Yako, Guardian Angel will clean it up, even though the nades fly in. You have plenty of time to get this final tick of progression. You're going to get A locked down. Then you can split off resources and work on B, and Yako is playing through the kitchen to perfection. He's able to find 2 kills, 18 to 18, and with Super so far pushed up, this is looking good for Mavericks.
Oh, they're in real deep. We see the kills, the trading blows going back and forth. They're Super trying to come out on top, but the pistol of Josh comes out, and he's able to finish the job. Sukri comes in and gets a piece of it as well from the AR. A huge 2-piece from Josh right here as he's defending Zone B. Stellar play from the veteran right there.
15 to 13. Orglis still on the defensive end. Josh, shots ring out, won't clean up Eric Boom, but Vortex goes on the hunt. And now you're just looking at to get mid-map control back in favor of Orglis. They have lives to play with, but not many. Josh again holding this position at pull steps. He's going to get shot down. Nasty with the 2-piece. And Sukri cleans up the middle of the courtyard. We go back to this A side in Spiral, and now you have the spawn trap currently for Orglis as they clean up everything. Harry's able to find 2, and you're spawning at driveway if you're Mavericks. This is dangerous. You can't move out without getting killed. And what a spawn trap from Orglis. They are shutting down Mavericks' chance. 40 seconds to go, but we might not even make it until the end of this round. It might be cleaned up. I mean, we haven't seen a kill from Mavericks in the last 15 seconds. This has been flawless execution and a solid pinch from Orglis.
They are really, really pouring it on here. This is a demoralizing moment in the Mavericks camp as they cannot leave their side of the map. The spawn trap from Orglis, they're able to swat them down like flies every single time they start to slip through. Yako, another difference-making double kill, blowing it all wide open, but still with just 13 seconds left on the clock, we need to see a miraculous finish from the side of Mavericks as Josh continues 5 kills in a row, still unanswered. Nasty with the flank. Orglis takes the round.
Yeah, that's a nice 4 or 5 kills there, Yako, but unfortunately you only had 3 lives to give, and the last member was up. That needed to come like 2 minutes earlier in this round. I mean, you talk about a pretty good setup for Mavericks, and then on a dime, one defensive hold leads to a spawn trap. Orglis moved right into Spiral. They got courtyard locked down, and for a 45 seconds straight, Mavericks could not pick up a single kill. Super at 8 and 14, Yako at 14 and 13, Eric Boom at 12 and 15. I mean, you cannot ask for a better spawn trap than that. Orglis played that round to perfection on defense, and now they need to do the same thing in round 3 to get a 2-1 advantage.
We're going to see big battles around pillars here. You see Nasty connecting with a headshot to continue the streak on to 6. Josh as well coming into this round from the previous one at 7 in a row. Both of these players playing for score streaks, and Josh is lining it up right here. We see someone coming in from kitchen to try and stop him. The trade comes through, but not before Josh can get the kill that he needed. Nasty is also still alive and just 1 or 2 kills away from being lit all up in the bottom right corner of your screen with score streaks. The point is secured, and this is a dangerous spot to be in. Mavericks gave away so much in the last minute or so of the last round of control that I don't know, Space. It's looking like Orglis is kind of burying them here.
Yeah, this is a dangerous game. Just a quick update. Team War beat 3G 3-0, so 3G is sent out of the tournament, and Team War will await the loser of this series, and at this moment, Orglis are looking like they want to send Mavericks down there as quickly as possible. Also worth noting, 23-11. Josh is currently in the point and having himself a day and a game to be said with that. Nasty on your screen, going to work through kitchen and money itself. Eric Boom absolutely shredded through the doorway, and this is just a complete takeover in this control. Orglis have flipped this game on its head. All of a sudden, they're chaining kills together. Nasty, a couple of stuns out, spots Yako not going to survive for long. Not much in the clip, but plenty of imagination to go with it. Still alive somehow. Nasty able to take down one more. The damage is done. Josh comes in for the cleanup, and that will be point B, and that will be the round. Orglis come out, and they stomp them 2 rounds in a row.
No games played except the right one. Orglis wins it right there in that round. Of course, still got a little bit left to the control here, but it has been a hot performance from them on this map so far. We talked about how Raid is home, and is this any more or less home to the veteran players? Right, we see Josh lighting things up in the lobby. So he's on pace to get 30 kills before the closing of this control map.
It's insane. I mean, you look at the opposite end. Eric Boom has as many deaths as Josh has kills. Like, it's been absolutely insane what we've seen from Orglis in those last 3 rounds in the S&D, which was relatively routine. But you come in here off of that first round win for Mavericks. All of a sudden, Orglis start stabilizing, bringing it back, vying for a position at mid-map, and controlling spawns about as well as you're going to see in this entire season. This has been a class act showing as Eric Boom and Secret combined for 2 headshots. That's 3 blue in the kill feed. Mavericks finally getting something to break their way as a couple of kills land, but Harry responds quickly on the opposite end, and Eric Boom says, well, while all of you guys are fighting on the other side of the map, I'm going to quietly sit on A and do my job and try to get us another minute on the clock.
A side is under attack. We see Nasty and Vortex looking to make moves on the opposite side of the map. As they slip through middle map, one gets caught. Nasty is still alive, but kind of trapped. There's 1 player inside Art. There's 2 in the point looking at pillars. He's trapped in this corner and has no way out. So we will see point A go in favor of Mavericks. Now, with 2 minutes left on the clock, they have to make this attempt at getting over to the B site. Unfortunately for them, they have players like Josh and Harry sat in defensive positionings waiting for exactly that to happen. Harry looking to break 20 kills as well as a 5 streak here in just a moment as he plays defense with Steve Vortex on the opposite side. Connecting with just enough shots, he's going to take down Eric Boom, and in the background is Sukri there too for icing on top of that cake.
And the dangerous thing right now is we've seen Mavericks get a quick point on A and then try to go for B 2 rounds ago. What happened? They got spawn trapped for the next 45 seconds. What's currently happening here? Harry's working on streaks. Harry's going to get said streaks. Only needs a kill more, and he'll have the missile. That's 3 more dead. Mavericks have been in this position before. Welcome to Deja Vu. You had a lockdown. You try to move to B. You get spawn trapped. No mid-map control. Josh is 27 and 13. Nasty's 21 and 18. Vortex gets 20 kills. Harry's 22 and 9. I don't know what is going on with Mavericks, but they are just not responding on the opposite end. They need a miracle right now if they want to get on a B.
Orglis, they just have a minute left on the clock to do it, but they are slamming the door shut in the face of Mavericks here. A little bit of a response as Eric Boom is able to get onto the point just at the same time as Super is finally able to stop part of this defense that's in bedroom. But you see Harry, it's still not enough. He knows exactly where he needs to be as he approaches the 10 streak. He has had no reason to leave his bedroom.
He's been playing this like it's a pub. What is this, 2013? He's been sitting inside a bedroom for 5 minutes. He hasn't left. They keep challenging him. He keeps winning the gunfight. He's got streaks. You can spawn trap him from this point. You know they're spawning in the back of Lambo. I mean, this is welcome to a decade's worth of COD knowledge. Here come the streaks 20 seconds ago. That's going to be the game. 20 to 5. It's a 4 ratio. You have a ratio of 4 lives to 1. Orglis to Mavericks. 20 to 3. You will not see a bigger butt kicking than what Orglis just pulled off the Mavericks in this control. They're going to take the series lead 2-0. This was a stomping from Orglis.
A punishment. And I'm glad I wasn't on the receiving end of that one. It was hard to watch. Orglis comes through with a stellar raid control performance. I mean, it was just an awesome effort of awesome collaborative effort of setting up for these spawn traps, playing around specific players in their power positions. We saw a lot of it coming from Josh. We saw a lot of it coming from Harry, and they just outclassed Mavericks for the majority of that map space.
You know, Maven says a lot of the times don't run around like an idiot. I mean, Mavericks ran around like chickens with their head cut off. They were just challenging Harry consistently, one at a time, feeding him kills. And when it came to getting kills in mid-map, they were the most unsuccessful team that could have ever lived in terms of getting map pressure. They just were not doing it. Maven's right. Running around sometimes with your head cut off is not the way to play Call of Duty. And man, that was a very, very dominant performance from Orglis in that game too. I mean, Fox, we've been casting Elite Series for a couple of months now. I have never seen a control go this way. We're back-to-back rounds. You get a lockdown and spiral, and you're thinking, okay, Mavericks, this is their chance now. They have numbers. They currently have time on the clock. And then they get spawn trapped for the next 2 minutes. I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, they got absolutely washed. That's not how Control's supposed to
rinsed.
unfold. It's great play coming from Orglis. I have to imagine that they even spot that one as maybe an outlier in their performances in this game mode. But if you're on the side of Mavericks, here's hoping that you bounce back in this hardpoint. I mean, we saw what kind of devastating performance they were able to put up in map 1. Maybe they can get some of that energy back, because it looks like they need it.
You're going into a hard point, and while that's kind of been their bread and butter so far today, I am not feeling confident if I'm a fan of this roster. I'm expecting this team to be going down and playing war pretty quickly. Orglis looks like they've turned on the afterburners. The Jets are hitting. They're firing in all cylinders. They're picking up kills in succession. They're trading effectively as a team. They're able to work through the middle of the map together. And now we go to Moscow, which is a punishing hardpoint map. If you cannot control spawns, if you get spawned out on P2 or P4, you're going to have a very difficult time winning this map. And when we talk about a team that had such good starts when it came to the objective in the control in this series for Mavericks, and in hardpoints earlier against their series against Team War like 2 hours ago, they had great starts. But when it came to the mid game and the late game and closing things out, especially on hardpoints, they struggled mightily. Fox, on a map like Moscow, a little bit more punishing sometimes than Checkmate. I mean, Checkmate's so chaotic and so close quarters, you can oftentimes get quick flips if you know what you're doing. But on Moscow, those rotations take a little bit longer. This is going to be a very, very dangerous map if Mavericks cannot shoot back. And that's what scares me about this series. We could be looking at Orglis winning this 3-1.
That's right, and we see the kind of commanding presence that someone like Nasty was able to have with an AR. You put him on Moscow Street, and you need to hold down that hard point. He's going to do it for you every time in this matchup if the rest of the series is anything to go off of. So Orglis, they're coming into this series up 2-1 in the series, and Maverick, they need to bounce back and give us some of the energy we saw in map 1 if they want to even hold a candle to the fire that Orglis has behind them right now.
I mean, even that map 1, yes, Mavericks were able to take the win, and it was impressive, right? They kept the majority of the kills on the outside of the hill, and they weren't too highly pressured when it came to key gunfights inside. So you're looking at that rotation game that surely has to be in their favor, but it's got to come through more production from everyone on the board of Mavericks. Eric Boom, Yako, Super, Sukri, everyone, every single person on that roster needs to have a stellar game if you want to send this to an S&D Game 5, which will be on Checkmate. Josh, top Eskies will get cut down. Usually P1's pretty highly contested, and now you're looking at both the rotation and spawns for P2. Orglis are in a favorable spot. Just got to win a couple of gunfights, and you're going to be sitting pretty. And Josh, well, he has a big piece to play, and unfortunately he gets cut down. Mavericks doing a great job off P1 to rotate out to P2.
You see Eric Boom still sat on the previous hardpoint. Super is going to be able to find 4 kills in a row with that kind of support on his side. And Mavericks, that's the reason why you find them after P1 having the 30-second lead. Finding some initial time on this hard point as well, but they're still met with the rotation from players on Orglis, such as Vortex. 3 kills in a row. He's going to be able to get his team a little bit better footing as the slugfest continues for control of this portion of the map. Nasty with 2 kills, Vortex and Josh with 1 of their own, and really the only response comes from Eric Boom. And thus, we see Mavericks spawning out towards Street, closer to P1. They have to spread out and make this a long journey over to the hard point as Orglis start to close in on this deficit a little bit.
That was the best possible break for Orglis. I mean, you lose 30 points off the rip, not a huge deal, but you're able to break into P2. You got spawns as well, and you've locked down the majority of the time. You didn't get contested, and you won the necessary gunfights. Now, you get pushed out, but a late break for Mavericks. They want those last 10 or so seconds. Okay, we'll give it to you. Eric Boom, a massive role to play in the back. If he's able to take down Vortex and or Harry rotating in, you have spawns for P3. Harry in the back. Eric Boom knows where he is. There comes the slide in the challenge. Harry staying alive, buying time for his teammates. Stuns are out. Who wins the gunfight? It will be Eric Boom, and he plays his job to perfection. This is such a great early hold for Mavericks.
Now, see, catching one from behind, he's able to stop him. They had trophy system support back there, too. They thought they were safe until Orglis, 3 in a row, are able to clear it out. Eric Boom still alive, looking to make a difference. He has the support of Super. They hold down some time on the objective, but the fight is not over. These players from Orglis that are spawning up, going straight through Eskies to continue the war of attrition onto the objective. Nasty and Josh connecting with headshots, Vortex as well. And no one's safe, as we always say. Orglis right back onto the objective. They're still down by 30 seconds. And trailing on this map is so difficult when you don't have those early rotations. Take a look at where Mavericks are situated for our next street hardpoint.
Nasty's flanking through the back. He's going to catch two if he's lucky, and the only reason Mavericks are holding on to a lead currently is because of what Eric Boom pulled off in that last kill. Able to stay alive, get his teammates in a position to help, and they continue to challenge and contest the hill, and that lead probably won't last for long. Nasty's doing his job in the back, but gets cut down. Trades are there, okay. Now we look at the front push from the bottom as Sukri gets traded out. Couple of numbers fall at mid-street. We go next hill, 37 seconds to go, 73 to 58, and it's pretty chaotic for both teams. Not a lot of clean setups, Fox. It's very much a couple of trades here and there, a couple of chippy shots. Someone flies in, gets traded. We try to get 5 or 10 seconds on each push, but not a lot of clean setups to start this hard point.
That's right, very scrappy. We're seeing a lot of back and forth. We're seeing a lot of hunger. We're seeing a lot of intensity in this hard point, especially with Orglis at a series point, I should say, and Mavericks having that confidence of taking map number 1, the first hard point, to themselves. We're seeing a lot of back and forth here on the Moscow hard point. Getting back to the middle of the map, it's going to be Yako in a great position, pre-aimed, set up, ready and waiting for the pressure that's looming from Orglis. And we see up top on that balcony there is where a lot of the attention is being spent, because that's where the trophy systems are going to go down. That's where the AR player is going to position themselves, and they're going to be able to duck in and out of cover with impunity. Eric Boom, supported by Sukri, they look to mount the defense against just that, against Josh, Vortex, and Harry.
Go back to P1. Last time we were here, Mavericks got the majority of the time, 30 or so seconds. They moved to P2 relatively easily, but Orglis were able to break, and they were able to bring this game back into the realm of contention. But for now, again, Mavericks doing a great job of holding down the initial time. We look at the transition at the top of your minimap. It will be Josh set up on the outside of the station, and he has to win a couple of gunfights to keep this push away from Mavericks, but they're winning the gunfights. They continue to push them through. Josh able to stay alive, AK-74U in hand, 9 and 10. Vortex 7 and 13, having a slow game. Nasty almost 20 kills, leading everyone in the lobby. And we talk about Orglis needing the duo of Vortex and Nasty to pop off. Josh, who was electric in that control. So far, that same sentiment applies in a relatively slow start for Vortex, but we don't expect that to last too long. And now it comes through the spawns in the back. Josh on your screen, what can you find? Well, not much, as Mavericks have numbers here.
Scary loss of the gunfight right there, as Eric Boom is going to be able to get away with his life. Yako as well. That one's going to go traded, but because Eric Boom was able to survive that engagement with Josh, he's able to follow it up and support, and we see the flip 3 in a row as Super puts him down. Vortex still responding, coming off of the respawn, but he's shut down as well, and we see Eric Boom really opening things up for them in this retake space.
And this is what Mavericks did so well on that first Garrison hardpoint, keeping kills on the outside of the hill, limiting as many challenges and contests into the time as possible. It's easier to read spawns, it's easier to funnel kills, it's easier to win rotational fights. So far, they've been doing a good job of that and cutting down in the back. Super, he can't find the double kill, but might have done his job just enough as Super comes around, 17 and 11. He's starting to heat up with 55 seconds to his name. Eric Boom able to pick up a kill 3 in a row, and now we look at the setup for P3. Who's going to be there first? Orglis will, and inside the hill it will be Josh, but Vortex is getting nice and comfortable inside the bank before Super will shut him down, and the trades continue for both teams, but so far a lead in the hold for Orglis.
We're looking through the eyes of Harry, currently at 6 and 15. All of the players, most of the players on the side of Maverick have been able to surpass 10 kills. 2 of them are already approaching 20. You have to imagine that once we see the AR player for the side of Orglis come online, this is a very, very different finish. Nasty, of course, picking up where he might have left off there. Big double kill from Harry. Nasty is just able to sit pretty beside him here as they start to close the deficit. We might see our first lead change here coming into the next hard point. As the hill time, the scrap time will be given up. Mavericks look to be positioned well for the street hard point, as Vortex is looking to be a thorn on their side.
Vortex got to be careful. He's getting pushed from the back. Last time we were in that position, it was Nasty who was able to flank effectively. And here comes Nasty, able to find the COD timing, and he'll take down a kill to go with it. 145 and counting. We look at the contest, but no one's there for the moment. It looks like it's just a full 3-man hit before numbers quickly fall. 2 pushed out, and Sukri on your screen will able to cut down Vortex, so numbers are here for Mavericks. That means they will have the early time. Super working it back. Super is successful, and now numbers quickly fall. Orglis had a couple of chances now to be able to push through for a contest, but Fox, I mean, you got Harry at 8 and 17, Nasty having a great game, but it's been staggered hits for Orglis, and they're just getting picked apart when it comes to pushing as a unit.
That they are, and Yako's been one of the stronger players on a defensive front when he's sitting inside of the hard point. He's always able to buy his team just enough time, connect with some great shots for a couple kills and some team shots. Eric Boom and Super, on the other hand, have just had these explosive moments of multi-kills that Orglis just isn't responding to. The trades are not there, and that's why we're seeing Mavericks up by about 50 seconds coming into this next hard point. And they're already positioned to get the initial time here too. So Orglis, they really got to start playing up to the pace of Mavericks here. They can't seem to keep up with what's unfolding in Moscow right now.
Yeah, it's not time to hit the panic button yet, but the only reason you're still in this game is Nasty. He's almost got 30 kills, 43 seconds on the hill. Yes, Josh has a full 60, but you need someone else to help out. You got Vortex at 16 and 22, Harry about to be double negative. Someone needs to help Nasty if they want a chance in this hard point to take the series 3-1. A contest is here, but every time we've seen a hill get contested, it's always Mavericks who walk away victorious. Super, couple of shots ring out, able to tag up Nasty to about 18 health. Will Nasty get traded? Yeah, he will. Mavericks once again win the team fight, and last alive inside will be Eric Boom with a clutch two-piece. This is just such a great job in the middle of the map by Mavericks to hold on to the time, and once again they win P1, and once again they're looking to win P2.
Just really staggered decision making coming out of the side of Orglis right there. And you see Mavericks playing them like a fiddle, one by one, taking them down as they maintain their setup. Initial time in this hard point will go to Orglis, but the fight has just begun. Yeah, Josh is still alive. Big shots for a double kill, but he is outnumbered, tagged up in red. Super is going to put the final bullet in his head there. Get himself some hill time as well. And Super, his response is huge with 3 kills in a row. 5 to his streak to make him drop the first 30 bomb in the lobby. Of course, on the opposite side, it's going to be Nasty, the closest one to do it. But his teammates are certainly more poised to get it done themselves. We see Super just adding 2 more onto the tally and playing defense around the objective. They've been able to hold this hill so well every time we've come to it.
Before Eric Boom's 2 pieces, it was Super's 3 kills in transition. The ability just to hop in the hill, pick up stragglers, and consistently find a way to get his team back in a favorable position just to contest. You got 229 to 151. You can win it on any single hill now if you're Maverick, so you're fine with losing rotational battles as long as you win the scrap time on the opposite end. Now it comes down to just chaining kills together for Orglis. You need a full 60 to get back in this game and keep this one from going to a game 5, but Eric Boom, a 2-piece machine in this hard point, and they look to close out this game in a dominant fashion and send it to a game 5.
This flank from Nasty took so long to unfold. All of his teammates died instantly when the hill popped. And now he's left making this long flank. He's got another attempt. He's got some support. But once again, the multi-kill from Eric Boom, the equalizer, he breaks 30 kills as well and is able to maintain that Mavericks defense. 3 seconds separate them from victory, and Mavericks just took us to game 5.
And for a team that looks good in hardpoint but horrible in everything else so far in this series, this was a shocker. I don't know what we're going to see in the game 5, but man, Super stepping up. Eric Boom, clutch 2-piece after clutch 2-piece, consistently making a man advantage possible. And all of a sudden, you look at Mavericks, and they're starting to light up the kill feed. Now we go to an S&D, but looking at that hardpoint, Fox, I mean, it was just a lack of production from Orglis, right? We have 2 games back-to-back where their production was on point. They look like they're reading the map a little bit quicker than Mavericks, but all of a sudden that game, in that entire hardpoint, they were losing the early time in the hill. They were getting quick breaks, which was nice, but they weren't able to hold it. A lot of sketchy setups from both teams, but the amount of 2 pieces from Eric Boom, the amount of clutch trades that came out of Super, there was just no production on the opposite end for Orglis. I mean, outside of really nasty flanking, that was it. No one else was helping him.
Yeah, and I mean, that you kind of touched on it very well there. This is a very disciplined team, is Orglis, but there was just no discipline in that map. I mean, we saw a lot of individual plays. We saw a lot of really staggered kind of weak pushes that Mavericks just picked apart with ease from start to finish. We saw a little bit of a resurgence in the middle of the map here. You see it represented in the scoreboard at the moment, 144 to 186, but at no point was Orglis in a position to really claim victory in that map. Mavericks was just kind of pulling them along on the ground.
And now we go to a Checkmate S&D for game 5. And again, this map will decide the series. Winner of this will move on, and loser will unfortunately drop down to the lower side of the bracket. Still have a chance, but you have to play Team War. And the last time we saw an S&D, it was Orglis who were able to pick apart Mavericks in the later parts of those rounds. And as the game went on, Orglis got more and more comfortable. Now we go to Checkmate, which can be punishing if you don't get bombed down early, or if you're playing as a sub through the plane, you're not able to find a pick first blood. I mean, you talk about a disastrous position to be in if the AR start popping off. Fox, I feel like Orglis are in a good position, even though they've gotten blown out in the hard points. This is a very, very comfortable spot for them to be in.
Yeah, my prediction earlier was to get this to go to game 5, but now that we've gotten here, I'm not sure what to think. I mean, we have Orglis, one of the toughest teams in their region, facing off against Mavericks, who looks to upset them off of just hardpoint wins so far. Sure. It's really a tough call to make as to what could unfold in this search and destroy here. Of course, this is going to play out completely differently from what we saw in Miami.
Man, what I would give for not only the FAR to be pulled out, but if we could somehow have snipers and smokes, you know I'd cry on stream. But listen, this one's going to be pretty highly contested. Let us know what you're thinking in the chat. Who you taking it? I feel like Orglis, again, they're in a good spot. They took the last S&D. They were down around a piece at a time. They brought it back tied 3-3. They won the last 3 rounds 6-3. They were able to control the middle of the map and direct traffic pretty well, and they rallied that into a very strong control. But now we look at Checkmate again, which can be punishing when it comes to lines of sights for your ARs, and we know that subs love to get aggressive under the plane. That is where I look at Eric Boom, and where more importantly I look at Sukri being able to have that clutch factor when it comes down to 1v2 situations. But you need that same production, right? You could say that about both teams. You need production from Super, you need production from Eric Boom and Yako in this S&D. For Orglis, you need Nasty and Vortex to be a factor at mid-map with the sub. You need them to be a factor because Josh and Harry are going to be probably the slower players on this map for that team. You need Nasty and Vortex to be the clutch factor.
Yes, and we saw Nasty come up in big ways in some of the more shining moments of that Moscow hardpoint. We saw him being really a huge part of the determining factor of the major success that Orglis saw on raid control. We need to see him continue this warpath that he's on as we get into game 5. But we want to see, if you're on the side of Orglis, you want to see a collective bit of success here in game 5. Orglis is finding themselves in their second game 5 series today after beating Team 3G in game 5. They have to be tired at this point. We're seeing MV3, who just came off of a 3-1 victory against War. They closed it out in that hard point, and so far they're at 3 in a row at least. So I'm curious to see what the vibe is like for both of these teams as they come into this game 5. This has to be a really tense moment for both of them as they play in this tournament for their share of $50,000.
Yeah, the loser of this, again, still has a life to give. They'll go down and play Team War. Winner promotes till tomorrow. They will play in a single elimination playoff bracket. So, you get your chance there to make a run for a title, but the comms should be for Mavericks, right? And 2 things, looking at that last S&D we saw in game 2. Number 1, make sure the comms are there. Make sure when you're communicating, hey, we have numbers here, or hey, we need to do this. You need to move as a team more effectively than you did in that game 2, because there were multiple chances in game 2 where you just didn't make the right play when there was a chance to, and everybody took their time trying to get into position. That can't happen. You need to be more decisive. And the second thing really is just commit as a team, right? If you're going to make a call on the field, everyone needs to be on the same page. Don't try to stagger each other off the board and figure out, well, if I play here, maybe we get a chance at this or that. You have to commit 100% as a team, but the game is ready. Let's get into it. I'm excited to see how this game 5 goes, Fox. And off the start, no one's dropped.
Loading into the action, of course, we see the stalemate that's always afoot as to who is going to take control of the plane. We see both players on the side of Mavericks playing pretty far back onto it, so that's going to allow the offensive team to get up on top of the site. You see Nasty always starting to put the bomb down. Eric Boom and Sukri from range with the AR put a stop to it instantly. No response from the guys in white. Orglis just have Harry left alive underneath the plane, and they just get wiped off the map.
Mavericks don't drop a single body. I mean, this setup, almost perfection. Vortex easily picked. And a great line of sight from Sukri as he works through the back of NASA, and just getting control on the site immediately means you have an AR watching the lane cross to the bottom of the plane. Once those numbers fall quickly, this map can be very, very punishing, and a very good quick start for Mavericks.
Yep, Mavericks opening things up 1-0. 2 players getting both of the kills they needed to close it out there perfectly. And so now it's going to be their offensive attempt. What we saw last time was at least 3 players on the side of Mavericks going straight through the plane. We saw from Orglis going straight through the plane. We saw Mavericks playing pretty far back, and they were still able to find those kills and stop the bomb plan. This time, though, the first blood comes out before they need to get into the plane. Sukri is able to collect it from Josh with no response just yet. Eric Boom is still able to sit pretty on top of the wing.
And that's got to be the key to success for right now for Mavericks, first bloods are huge, but Nasty in a two-piece is a little bit bigger. 2 and 1. Vortex on your screen. Eric Boom right outside the corner. Surely Eric Boom knows that Vortex is here. He does, yeah. So this is going to be a bit of a stalemate. Wins the gunfight regardless. 2v2. He's going to back on up. Bomb in hand for Yako. Last alive for Orglis. Harry and Nasty. Should be looking at an AR and a sub in hand, so you have range that you can cover on all angles. 3-0 for Eric. He's kind of working on streaks, but not really. So you're not too worried about his positioning. But bunched up, Nasty under the plane, Harry in the very far back at P2. We'll see how they play it.
So Harry can get towards the A-bomb side here. They just gave up the line of sight. Nasty was watching it for so long and might get caught off guard here. But Eric Boom actually ends up rerouting towards the middle of the map. Seeing a whole lot of audibles being called out right now as Yako's able to find Nasty. 1 versus 2 situation now as Harry is able to stay alive, and Orglis ends up winning the round as we find the time limit has been reached.
Won't see that often, and Harry did the job right. Just don't feed kills, don't feed streaks. Lay down, play your life, and a good retake through the middle of the map. Again, bunching up with numbers from Mavericks. Sukri and Eric Boom been lights out so far in this S&D. Eric Boom was had a pretty good series. You know, a couple of moments for Mavericks where just people in general weren't contributing to the kill column, which obviously has an effect. But Eric Boom, since coming from Train Hard, small stint with them, not a great showing, but finding himself on this Mavericks roster, quickly become one of the most fun players to watch. And he's having a great showing in this stage. 2 and 2 for Nasty will be your bomb carrier. Vortex on your screen working under the plane. We've seen setups like this before, just a round ago, Fox. So we'll see who peaks first.
Eric Boom and Super are just around the corner, so his position is not safe. Trophy system as well, so his tacticals and lethals are no good. He will need some support from a different angle here. Super is able to connect with Harry at range. Vortex looking to try and turn the corner and trade it, but does not connect with the shots that he needs. Yako doing damage as he finds wiggle room underneath the plane. Gets away with his life as well. Plane control still in favor of Orglis as Josh has his feet planted. Support from Nasty over his shoulder is going to call for the end of Eric Boom. We have Yako just between the two of them though on the wing, who has yet to be spotted. He catches Josh
hitting through the back. Nasty's kind of in a weird spot. He was already going for the rotation, but now he's playing basically tap dance with 3 people moving around. And you really don't have a good place to be if you're going to rotate a little bit late. Wasn't his fault, just kind of a victim of circumstance. First blood was from Super. He's been terrific today. And a 2-1 lead currently, as Mavericks will have the advantage. And so far, they've been winning the first blood battle. And you have Yako at 3-0. You know, Super at 1 and 2. He found first blood. He gets himself on the board. But a very, very hot start for everyone on Mavericks so far.
That's right. Yako so far deathless. Sukri just found his first death in the last round. As we load into this one, it looks like efforts are mounted towards the A site from the offensive team. Mavericks, our guys in blue. Audible is called, moving more towards the middle of the map. They will be met with 2 players on site at B. The rest of them sit kind of far back in the spawn because they have such a great line of sight onto A. The closest player there is going to be Yako. I imagine there's not a whole lot that he can do there on his own, so all of the tension looks to be resolved right here as Vortex and Josh with the quickness find those 2 opening kills. Once again, no response. They get away clean. They play defensively. The bomb is down on site. Someone's got to go for it. Eric Boom is in range. They know he's coming. He connects with some shots and is able to get away with the objective here, Space.
That's the most dangerous part of being inside the plane. That's when the nades fly out. And you just play numbers. Harry in a great spot. Here comes the challenge from Yako. Can't clean up anything. And that push might be all for nothing as Vortex comes up for the challenge. Yako throwing out some more shots. You have Mavericks completely isolated in the plane. I mean, you just pick them apart from the side. That's exactly what they're going to do. Yako now in a 1v3. If he pulls this off, my God. 16 seconds to go. Has the bomb. He might escape. But do they know where he is? Surely he has nowhere to go. I mean, you just spread out if you're Orglis. 8 seconds now. And this will be a round win for Orglis because Yako's not going to push up.
Yeah, you can see those arrows. They got him trapped. They have that cone of suppression there. They know that he cannot leave that area, and he's well aware as well. So you see Yako just kind of wait out the clock. This is the position where he did the most damage, just able to stay alive on the bomb site, slip away with his life as well. The round is still going to go to Orglis here as we get tied up at 2-2, but Yako playing his life there.
Yeah, you create that 96 Bulls triangle offense right on the outside of the play. Like, you're not going anywhere, brother. You cannot escape.
That's his own defense.
I mean, look, you're in a 1v3. I mean, what do you possibly do? Not much. Harry's still trying to find his first kill of the game. And now we've hit a full stalemate. I mean, no one's moving from Mavericks. It is a complete hold the line. Diamond hands aplenty. Eric Boom at 3 and 2. Sukri at 4 and 2. Vortex throwing shoulders to get some ideas of where players might be. Gets tagged, but might have done his job perfectly as Josh is able to catch Sukri rotating. And wonderfully played by Orglis. But here comes Yako to the middle of the map, be able to catch one.
Yako, once again, able to stay alive as he just continues to dive underneath the mini structures underneath the plane and survive. He finds these kills and gets away all the time for his team, and it's been a huge part of their success here as we get into the 5th round of the Search and Destroy. Still deathless. Great performance from him. On the offensive side, we're looking through the eyes of Nasty. He's sat atop crates. There's going to be one player just around the corner from him, and I'm not sure that he's been able to connect with a line of sight on them just yet. They have to know that the A-bomb site is not safe, and that's why he's fishing, throwing shoulders, looking for the line of sight. He does not get it. Eric Boom is going to punish him, and Mavericks closes it out quickly thereafter, finding themselves up 3-2.
We've been in this situation before. Things were looking good for Mavericks in Game 2. They go up 3-2. They then start losing. This is a very big round, not only for Superstition, but for morale. Can they make it 4-2? And in that point, it's better to be up 4-2 than be tied 3-3. We all know that. Yako at 6-0. Eric Boom having a great game. On the opposite end, Harry has not found a kill. Vortex has been dead quiet. Nasty and Josh doing as much as they can. The stuns come out. We'll see what the call might be. We haven't seen the bomb get pushed up into B as much as we're used to. And that's been a bit unpredictable and uncharacteristic of this game and this map mode combo. Usually it's a quick plane on to B, or they try to push for numbers inside for first blood. But I don't even think we've seen the bomb go down at B so far in this Game 5.
There was an attempt on the A site earlier in the game, or on the B site earlier in the game, but it was, of course, shut down so quickly. We see how easy it is to...
Fox, have we had a plant in this Game 5?
No, outside of the attempt in our opening rounds on the B site, nothing has been able to connect just yet.
Jeez.
Moving through the B bomb site, though, we see a flank unfolding here. The bomb carrier looks to be at the head of it. That's Yako. And the defense from Orglis has been the same almost every round so far, so they have to know someone's there at the bottom of the stairs. Yako, with this information, is able to take down Nasty, get himself some score streaks, get out alive with the objective. 30 seconds remain on the clock, and they could get it down on B here.
The very first plant of the game comes in round 6. I would have never expected that, but Yako wasn't expecting Josh in the back. 5 and 4. It's a 1v1. This is a huge round. You've invested streaks and you've gained nothing. Josh might just stick it, but Super, you got to peek at some point. Josh is playing this quite well, and he's going to catch him. Josh is going to get the defuse, the 1v1 clutch. They're going to tie this one up, and more importantly, Yako invested streaks when they thought they had numbers control. They got bombed down for the first time in this game, and it means jack all.
Squad leader Josh coming through with the 1v1 win, the bomb defuse, and we find ourselves knotted up again at 3-3 in Search and Destroy with these two teams. We saw ourselves in a similar position in Game 2. We see Orglis in their second Game 5 in a row today, and it could not be more tense. Mavericks are putting up a huge, huge fight here against the best team in their region.
I'll tell you this right now. If it comes to a situation where you need those streaks and you can't win this game, you're going to be slamming your head against the monitor for the rest of time. That was a very risky investment. Will it pay off is the biggest question right now. 8-1 for Yako. He got cut down, so he won't get the missile either. You only had the artillery. You burn it in that last round. Mavericks looking down the barrel of a similar situation they were in Game 2. But Nasty and Josh are pushing right up into B. If they pick off Yako, it's a free site and a free plant. Eric Boom finds first blood again.
Nasty still sat on top of the site. If he turns his corner, Yako's ready to cut him in half. We've seen how hot the submachine gun's been so far this map. He was even bold enough to be 7-0 last round and be in the front line of a 3-man flank. Finding that kill, he got the score streaks, of course, then stopped soon afterwards. The bomb will go down. He's able to catch Yako off guard. Follow-up should be here shortly, though, as Nasty, well aware of the danger that awaits him around the corner. He's not going anywhere just yet. He finds a kill and then gets away with his life. Very well played by the bomb planter.
Yeah, just stick it. That's exactly what you do. If you're Mavericks, just stick the bomb. You have to. You have numbers in the plane, and it's forced to them to rotate. Orglis come in, but it won't matter. And a heads-up play from Mavericks. That is exactly the absolute perfect call on the bomb. If you have numbers in the plane, but you know that at least the ARs and the front subs are on the outside, so they either have to challenge you on the bomb, or they have to work through players like Super and Eric Boom. You put one on site, you tell them to defuse, and you watch over with everything you got. That was the perfect call for Mavericks, and they finally get their 4th round.
And of course, in the death cam right there, we saw that they were probably able to communicate that the bomb planter immediately sprinted away and dove off the wing. So the call to stick the defuse right there came from some information after that engagement. You have to wonder why no one else from Orglis decided to take that opportunity to check for the bomb plant. The Semtex came so late, right at the end of the bomb defuse, and we see Orglis is going to be trailing by 1 as Mavericks goes up 4-1. Bomb carrier Yako, 8-1 at the moment. And it looks like the team is poised to try and make some damage, to do some damage on the A site here. Sukri opens up with the first blood. Looking to connect with the second kill on Nasty through the wall. Just enough damage. The one headshot will do it. The follow-up from the AK-74U as he knew he had him trapped. And we also saw score streaks raining down from the sky. Mavericks has every reason to close out the remaining moments of this S&D round.
Yako has artillery still. And Mavericks will get up the round. So I think I just got bamboozled out of my life. So Yako used the streak to find info. He did not call it in. That is my mistake. He still has it. And he might have invested the missile itself. So Yako actually playing this one to perfection. And I just caught my own neck.
We are at map point. We are at series point. Mavericks look to close it out here, as Vortex and Josh have not been able to get past 1 kill. It's been a very, very tough map for them, and a very tough series for Harry in particular. But we've seen Orglis come back from some pretty devastating deficits. It's certainly still possible, but Eric Boom has been a huge part of the difficulty to get to that point.
He's got to be careful. Got 1 clip left and basically a bullet. Eric Boom and Yako have been the standouts. The only reason Mavericks are currently in this position. Sukri, yes, 6-5, but first bloods for Eric Boom. Yako with streaks, and 8-1. Stuns won't connect with anything, so you have a free plant here, but how free will it be is it looks like a collapse might come through. Eric Boom picks up 1. Here comes the challenge. Bomb won't go down. It will. And now it's just a 4v2. Streaks getting invested. Yako takes himself out. Harry underneath the plane's gonna pick up Super. Oh god. Oh, it's all crumbling so quickly.
Yeah, we're starting to see the Jenga tower fall here. Harry is the one that knocked the pillars over, sat under the plane. He's able to find a crucial kill. Staying alive, he connects with the remaining gunfight that he needed. But in this 1v1, Eric Boom has been so crucial this round, and is he finally has his fire put out as Orglis stay alive, clawing their way back into this search and destroy, and they have Harry to thank.
I don't know which is worse, me thinking that Yako invested streaks when he didn't, or Yako just taking himself out of the map when he uses them. Got absolutely no one except himself. And the round collapses 5-4. If this goes to a round 11, I swear to everything, I am not ready for what might happen. Vortex is 1-9. It cannot happen for Orglis if he starts to light up, if he starts to get a kill or 2. Oh man. Mavericks, you better pray that you get first blood off Eric Boom.
Orglis, they're looking to force the round 11. The offensive side of Mavericks, though, playing pretty far back from the site as we see Steve Vortex. He's giving them nothing. 2 players off to the side, that's 5 and 8. Super and Eric Boom have been hugely instrumental in this series and the success that we've seen from Mavericks. Eric Boom, especially on this map, with so many multi-kills that go unanswered, no trades. And now they look to slowly step their way towards this objective here. They will be met by a pretty forward defense coming from the side of Orglis. Josh sat just around the corner in the cabin. Steve Vortex, he sat right on top of the objective. So they will have to come through with that first blood here, Space.
Sukri might have gotten lucky. He might have been a rotate behind and find Nasty. That opens up the left side of the map. Nasty spots 1. Sukri might get the call. Here comes Sukri. He played it perfectly. Played his life. Waited for info. 4v3. Eric Boom gonna move into B. Here comes Sukri again on your screen. Vortex gonna take down one. Vortex gonna take down two. 2v1. Last alive for Harry. Mavericks looking to go to tomorrow to the playoff bracket. Orglis surviving the knockout gauntlet. They lose this, they drop down to play war.
The bomb goes down, and it's 40 seconds on the clock. We saw last round Harry was able to clutch it up for his team. Going to be much more difficult this time, but with shots like those, Harry is definitely in a spot to do it. 30 seconds on the clock. I'm not sure he knows where Super is at. He could turn this corner without checking it. Rounds in his back. Mavericks are able to close it out in Game 5 against Orglis with a 6-4 victory.
Oh, that was one of the more tense Game 5s you're going to see. We didn't get a single bomb plant into round 6. Streaks are used on Yako's own head. It looks awkward. It looks weird. But at the end of the day, a couple of big, clutches from Orglis. That last round, 5-4. We're thinking, okay, we're going to Game 5. Jesus. But nope. They settle down. They get it done. Eric Boom and Yako, you can thank your two brethren right there for being able to send them into tomorrow's playoff bracket. Allie, you're watching the whole series. You're watching that Game 5. What did you see? What stood out to you?
Oh, for one, I do just like to say I was wrong in my prediction. I don't know if you guys saw my message. I was like, Orglis is going to take this S&D, like 100%. I was screaming that whole S&D. I was mind blown. I mean, Mavericks did what they had to do. They had to shut down Harry and Josh. They managed to shut down Harry. And then Vortex, I mean, he struggled all series. I mean, Yako matched Harry and Eric Boom matched Vortex and just shut them down. They did what they had to do. And, I mean, they're just great overall from them.
Fox, you got to think, I mean, just down to brass tacks, we look at if Vortex had a better series, they might win this whole thing, right? Surely, if he's able to contribute the way we know he can and be an X factor the way we know he can, Orglis probably have a good chance to be able to take this one, right?
I think that's right. I definitely think that we expect more out of Vortex at this point, and he certainly under-delivered what he's capable of. I also think that we saw Harry really dragging them down those last two maps. I mean, going for such long stints with an AR in your hands without any kills is really devastating and really disruptive to your team's overall structure.
Standouts, obviously, you look at Eric Boom, right? There was many people who expected him to kind of falter in this stage because he had a short stint with Train Hard. It didn't go super well. Eric Boom's becoming a standout. Regardless of whatever roster you want to talk about, this Mavericks team is successful because of him. And Yako, who had a phenomenal day as well as Super. Super was clutch in the hard points. He was clutch in the S&Ds. Their control is a little bit worse for wear, but we won't talk about that. We'll talk about the bracket on your screen. Mavericks survive a Game 5 scare. They go on, and then we'll move into the playoff bracket for tomorrow. But the knockout gauntlet continues as Team War take it over 3G. They win 3-0 sweep, and they will play Orglis as Orglis drops down from the series we just watched. That's coming up right after this break, but I got to get your guys' thoughts and predictions real quick before we jump to one. Alley, we look at Team War, we look at Orglis. Team War not having the best season. Orglis, a heartbreaking Game 5 loss, but they're not out of it just yet. What are you expecting going into this next series?
I expect the series to go the distance for sure. Team War versus Orglis. I mean, on the stat, we see Team War 3-0 3G, so that means they are coming out hot. Orglis coming off that loss. I mean, already we saw across the board, Harry and Josh, they were still doing what they were supposed to do in S&D, and I feel like, if Vortex kind of takes the series and comes out running, we could definitely see it go the distance.
And you got to look at Nasty having to be an X factor. If Nasty and Vortex are not having a good series, Fox, real quick, you got to think it might be over for them here in the knockout gauntlet.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you on that one.
Yeah, well, we'll see how that one actually plays out. But for the moment, we will be throwing it to a commercial break. And before we get there, here again is just kind of a look at the schedule for how today will work out. It's Mavericks who took down Orglis 3-2. Team War will be playing Orglis coming up next for round 2 of the elimination bracket. Winner of that match will move on to the single elimination playoff bracket tomorrow. And winners round 2 for North America and elimination round 2 for North America will take place later tonight. So we'll see everything we saw here for Europe. Same thing for North America later on the second half of the broadcast. But for now, we go to a commercial break, and when we come back, the second and final matchup of the knockout gauntlet for Europe, we'll see who takes it. It's Team War and Orglis on your screens after the break. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back from your break. I hope you had a good one. We did too. And up next is our final series for Europe for the night. Knockout Gauntlet comes to an end here with this last matchup, and then the winner of this goes on to the playoff bracket tomorrow. I'm Spaceman, that is Fox and Alley, and this is the conclusion of Europe for stage 3 for tonight. Tomorrow we see the resolution of both regions, crowning a champion, all that fun stuff. But for now, we sit with our final matchup. It's Orglis, it's War, and it's a big one. Fox, looking at what we just saw, we saw Orglis have to go through the trials and tribulations in that series. They weren't able to close out game 5. Now they come down and there are questions about this roster. Talk to me about what you're thinking about to go into this series.
I'm thinking it's been a long day of Call of Duty for them. I'm thinking that there are thousands and thousands of dollars ahead of them, and that they have one of the toughest possible matchups just minutes away. I mean, we've seen what War can do. We've seen the struggles that they've had, and it's going to be an exciting one to get to the end here. And we can look at the maps for this series we're coming into.
Yeah, Allie, looking at the maps themselves, and they're so beautiful. Looking at the maps themselves, I mean, you were talking to us, during the break, saying you're watching the last series for Orglis. You're expecting them to be able to take that S&D. What were you seeing on their side? And looking at the maps that we have for this series, is there anything standing out to you that you look at the map and you look at Orglis and you say, yes, that is a match made in heaven, or no, that's going to be a problem for them going into this one?
When I look at Orglis and I see Garrison, should we get to that point in the series, I'm definitely favoring Orglis. That's the only one that really jumps out to me as one that I feel like they could really dominate, especially, I mean, when you have the likes of Harry and you have the likes of Josh and Nasty just kind of sprinting at you. That's a terrifying sight. But on the side of Team War, I mean, I see Checkmate 2 times, and I just think about the long range, and I think about Lucky, and I think about Journey and the team and the players on Team War that you're going to have to stare down. And I'm worried about Orglis because Vortex has not been showing up so much today. So should he come out slow, especially in respawn, I feel like War is going to punish them for that.
Yeah, looking at kind of how War was playing so far today, again, this has kind of been the story for this roster. Lucky is always the one kind of being the catalyst to get the team going, and he's never really having a bad game, but when he is, they struggle mightily, and Metals is the other half of that duo, and he has not been having the greatest stage 3. This War roster has underperformed when it comes to the entire Challengers Elite series so far in this part, and going into today, Metals kind of the same situation, a little bit slow on the sticks, and I wonder going into this series, if Metals doesn't have a great series, and you look at the other end with Nasty and Vortex also not having the best of days, this could be a slugfest between the two ARs on opposite ends. Fox, talk to me about what that might do for the composition of both teams, looking at maps like Express, like Raid, like Checkmate, where you're having to rely so heavily on your ARs to do the majority of the lifting, where the subs should normally be having a field day.
I think that you touched on it really well. I think that right now, Team War, they're going to need everyone on the team clicking, right? Yeah. I think that even a weakened Orglis that we're seeing right now is still no slouch. I mean, if you're Team War, you're hoping that you can kick them while they're down, right? 2 grueling Game 5 finishes, but it's still going to be a tough one. You're going to need everyone contributing because Orglis, as we've seen, they still have those individual players that can come through in really explosive ways like Nasty.
And Ali, I mean, Invidian, who's kind of been a standout, right? When he joined this original roster, a lot of people, of course, formerly known as Rams, a lot of people were unsure of what Invidian's role would be or where he would kind of fall between the ranks because he was kind of an unknown name. He starts to stand out a lot of like how Eric Boom has quickly risen into people's radars and pinging their respective perspectives. It seems like Invidian on one end, and you look at Orglis on the other, like Invidian and Harry or Invidian and Josh back and forth. That to me is kind of good. It's going to be the battle for this series. What are you seeing? What are key matchups that you want to keep your eye on going into this one?
I guess it's not so much about matchups, but it's more so about the map modes across as a whole, just because of S&Ds, I'm definitely favoring Orglis regardless of who they're going against. I think of Harry and I think of Josh as that duo. I think them together is just one of the scariest S&Ds duos we've seen in the EU region. And then on the side of Team War, though, they are such a good defensive team. So when I think about hardpoint and I think about control, Orglis is a very aggressive team. And if they can't break that front line of defense on the side of Team War, especially coming off of a 3-0 against a team like 3G, who had to go up the likes of Beans, had to go up the likes of Keza and Nile, I'm very worried for side of Orglis because they're going to have to take a respawn off of them.
And Fox, Ali brought up an interesting point earlier in this discussion. She said if we go to the Garrison hard point in map 4, if we go to the distance to that point, she's taking Orglis in that matchup. Now we saw Orglis play Garrison hardpoint in map 1 of our last series where they got blown out. Like, it was about as clinical as it could possibly be. But I think a lot of it was due to the lack of slaying on Orglis' side. But do you think having repetitions in maps that you didn't fare well earlier against, do you think having that extra repetition in your back pocket will do better for Orglis going into the series if we do go to a map 4?
I definitely think there's something to be said about having such a tough experience on that map so recently, right? You get to hop back into it with a fresh mindset and kind of understanding what's worst case scenario, what does that look like, and just not let it get to that point again, right?
Yeah, I mean, worst case scenario for both these teams right now is you lose this, right? Because you're out. The knockout gauntlet's done. It's the final match of the night, or for Europe, and it means that if you lose this, you're done. You win. You get to play tomorrow in the single elimination playoff bracket. So there's a chance to play for a bunch more money, a possible title on the line. If you don't come out and do your thing now, you're not going to do it for the rest of the season. You'll have to wait till season 4. And for a lot of these teams, they're going to have to play through a double elimination tournament at some point to be able to try to get themselves back in the same situation for the next elite season. As we know, the top 2 teams from Europe are Amelia Strays, which were a standout, and Elevate, who came in second in the last season 2 finals, but they will be promoted to next season. We'll see them in season 4. For both these teams, this is a big matchup, big best of 5, and I want to know what you guys are predicting. Ali, starting with you, who are you taking?
Oh God, I'm one of those ones. I'm gonna take it as first map goes. As for first map, I will probably have a good idea of how the series is gonna go. But both these teams, just situational wise, it's a very big toss-up war. I mean, they got shut down really early, but then 3-0 sweep right out of the gate on 3G and losers bracket. I mean, they could go off of that momentum. But then Orglis, I mean, they were fighting to keep themselves alive against Mavericks, and not to mention going into game 5 and having such close games. Both of them have different waves of momentum on their sides, and it just all depends on who comes out on all cylinders.
Fox, same question. Who you taking?
I'm going to go with War. I think War, this is your time to do it. If you're going to take down Orglis, it might as well be right now.
Yeah, I was watching the off stream earlier, and shout out to Brody and Enigma for covering that match. It was Mavericks versus War, and one thing that Brody and Enigma keep mentioning was that War have a way, even when they're down in the count, they have a way of being able to bring it back and find extra little bits of rhythm to keep themselves invested in the game and bring back hard points to a close margin, bring back S&Ds. If that happens, we're going to be here all night, folks, and I wouldn't want it any other way. But for now, we bid adieu to Ali. We will see her later tonight, and for now, we sit. It's Fox in space on the call. And more importantly, it's Team War and Orglis in a position to possibly send themselves to tomorrow. And while we get things quickly restarted, Fox, this is a huge matchup, not only with implications, obviously, for the chance to play in the playoff bracket and possibly make some waves and taking out top teams and win more money, championship, yeah, all that cool stuff. But also, this is a moment for a lot of these rosters to really figure out if this is the real deal. Is this the actual finalization of the Team War roster we expected? Is this going to be the final iteration of Orglis? What do you think this series is going to say for a lot of these players? If, let's say, they have, an underwhelming series, will we see roster changes going into next season?
I definitely think that this series would be determinant of roster changes. We're seeing 2 teams that are kind of playing, I would say, below what we would expect from them up to this point.
Sure. And
they found themselves in a really tough position as we come into the closing matches of our competition here.
I'm excited. It's Checkmate up first. It's Express up second. Oh, it's so good. Off the start, it's Team War who are inside the hill, but this is, again, a big series for both these teams. Winner of this moves on to tomorrow. They'll play on the playoff bracket. We said it 1,000 times, and we will keep reiterating that point. Loser, well, we bid you adieu, and hopefully we'll see you next Challenger season. Fox, it's going to be a good game 1.
That it is. Right off the bat, Team War find themselves in the lead here. Of course, Orglis hopping right in as the hill is turned over. They have Harry in position with an AR who's able to connect with 1 kill, tagged up, and still able to get right back into the mix as he connects with a second. He knows where these spawns are coming from, and with support on crates, he looks to shoot over the shoulder of Vortex, who is able to slip behind enemy lines. This is such an important position for him to be in. Journey, knowing that, comes through and disrupts him, takes him down before being responded to by Harry, and they needed these spawns, is why all of the players are competing for this positioning. Harry comes out on top with 5 in a row, and this is a big way to start it off.
Harry wasting absolutely no time coming off that last series, and man, P1 usually highly contested, though through the back is Vortex with 2 kills, and he helps the cause currently for Orglis make that 3 on the beam. 33 and 16 and counting. We sit at NASA Hill, and we're going to look at the rotation to P3 in just a couple of moments, but so far, the ARs are doing their job to perfection, and Nasty, well, sub in hand, making it look dead easy as Orglis have off to a great start, and they're making things look very, very comfortable in the middle of the map.
Metals, Titan of the Lobby, is the first one to fall in this wave of engagements as Orglis are able to hold down to hardpoint. 2 players sat inside of it, should secure them. The scrap time here, as you see the remaining players far out towards crates and towards the plane. We're going right back to the middle of the map, and 3 in a row as Josh collects his 4th one. He's able to stay alive and try and keep the pressure up on this rotation. He's going to need some support from the players that are spawning up behind him here, because they certainly have to have his number right now in terms of his positioning coming to this next hill.
You know, if you're Team War, or more importantly, if you're actually Orglis, you're kind of thanking your stars you're playing Team War, because the last time Orglis played 3G walked away with a 3-1 series win. So does that say much? Probably not, but it's still just a stat we want to throw out there, and Orglis are probably feeling more comfortable now that they have a game or 2 under their belt. They come into this hard point off the start, and as we go over to P3 under the plane, well, it's a good hold for Orglis, but they have to give them map pressure back, as Lucky is able to pick them apart in the back of shipping, and he's going to rotate, set up for P4, get ready and waiting. Journey off the plane, able to find 1. He's inside the hill for the moment. Not a lot of time being given the way of Team War. It's very contested for both sides, but it looks like Team War will have a decent hold and setup for the moment, and they are ready for the next hill.
Journey moving around the hard point here right now, dishing out a lot of damage. Great support for the team before being taken down in the first wave. In this next wave of fights here, Harry is able to slip through onto the hard point with the support of Nasty. However, with the rotation looming here to crates, you want to see them step over straight from the plane. The high ground advantage right there paying off. Journey with the follow-up, though. Submachine gun pressure still kept on the hard point. He's able to stay alive, secure some more hill time, shrink this deficit. Down by about 20 seconds, the submachine guns end up diving in for their next wave of fight. So the first one is won. Journey left alone and is still able to connect with Invidian at range. I think we're starting to see a hill flip here as they're successfully pouring through on the objective.
Yeah, one of the key factors for Team War is how well is Metals playing. Well, so far 14 and 9 on a 3 spree, 25 seconds in the hill. He's having about as good a start as you could want. And Journey, who last season played under the Atlanta FaZe Academy roster with Jimbo, Sibbing, Gravity. And Journey was incredibly good, a sub-objective player, right? Being able to get into the hill, get clutch kills, and survive for time. He's had a much quieter role on this roster, but he does it pretty well, which gives pressure away from Metals and Lucky having to do their job. Invidian has been a great AR. It just comes down to a team we're all playing together on the same page. When that happens, they're a very good team. So far, they're having a good showing in this hard point. As you rotate to P5, we'll see how they're able to hold it.
You mentioned it perfectly. When we see Team War all clicking together, they can be pretty scary. We see some explosive moments even out of players like Journey, who are typically, like you said, much quieter, sort of more objective-oriented and support-oriented submachine gun players. Still a huge part of the success that Team War has seen up to this point. Harry finishes himself off here. Hill time still in favor of his team as Josh is now met with a swarm of red arrows around him. Journey falling without firing a shot in time. 3 straight as Orglis hold on to the front, and they were able to hold off the last wave of players. And Invidian being caught alone here is going to make it a little bit difficult for this rotation. Even with that initial kill, I think that we should see Orglis fight back for the initial control of this next hill pretty easily.
It was a pretty casual break from Orglis. Not a lot of pressure breathing down the back of their neck as Team War were more than happy to give up that last 10 or so seconds. Now we go back to P1 in our second set of rotations. And through the play, and you know it's going to be contested, but the team fight will be won regardless. Who will come out on top? That's the big question. At the moment, Metals on your screen, 18 and 12. Almost 20 kills through all of these hills. 19 and 12 continuing on as 2 members from Team War will sit inside the point. We look at the rotation to NASA. It's Journey leading the charge. Can he escape? Well, Harry's going to cut him down, and he will lock down spawn. So that's a much bigger kill than you might expect as the numbers are there for Orglis. And if they're willing to give up this last 25 or so seconds, yeah, it's going to be an annoying margin, but it might do you dividends down the line as you set up for P2, and it looks like that might be the call.
Journey shots down range, not able to connect with enough. He has Nvidian support to follow him up, and they're able to get the scrap time from that play as well. But we see the initial time for this new hill will go to Orglis. 2 players in the point right now. Nasty closest one to it. Vortex as well, with support for the player pushing straight through the front. Someone's got to respond to him, and they failed to do it. Journey's going to be able to get through. The trades do come into play though, because of course Orglis, with their positioning, they have the more advantageous spawns. The pressure's not letting up. Team War still pouring it on, and Vidian opens up with that kill inside the plane, the shell of the plane there. And so now this should allow them to pinch and dive onto the hard point. Wall bang, easy kill right there for Nvidian to clean it up, and they just take control just like that. An easy hill turnover from Team War.
I feel like an idiot now. Really, nothing's new there. But Lucky, 8 and 16, double negative. We spent a lot of the pregame talking about him and what he brings to this team, how well he can pull them out of the brink of just absolute despair when they're down in a series. But he's having a very, very rough start to this entire series. Medals at 22 and 14, leading the charge of everyone in the lobby and having a phenomenal start to the hard point. 160 to 125. Again, we're going to go to P3 under the wing. Who's going to be there up first? Well, Orglis have mid-map pressure, and they're not relinquishing any lines of sight. They want a clean setup. They want a clean hold. They want to get back in this game with a full 60. And if they continue to kill on the outside of the hill like this, Fox, they might have an easy time getting all the points.
That's right. Lucky dies all alone here. And again, they're just setting up for more kills to happen outside of the hard point. Josh finds Journey. Lucky just now getting back into the action after all of his teammates have already died. And you see the staggered spawn start to unfold here. The next wave will be a 3 versus 4 once again, as Josh is able to hold his position. And Orglis, they're closing that gap. Just 15 seconds separate them. We're about halfway through this hard point, and we're seeing a resurgence from Orglis as they look to knot it up here shortly.
Yeah, if you're stacking the spawns back for Team War, best case scenario, you either get a front break on a bull rush or you try to overextend, but that means you're going to run into Harry on the opposite end, and now instead it's Nasty who's taking Harry's spot. So you're already looking at the setup for Orglis on P4. Team War had a couple of chances to really get their foot inside, but they just weren't unable to do so. So you lose P3, you're going to lose P4 on the early time, and Orglis have not relinquished mid-map pressure for a full 60, and more importantly, they flipped spawns, and look at the arrows rotating. They understand where everyone is split. Harry knows his position. He knows where everyone has to be spawning. Once they had mid-map pressure and a couple of players were pushed out for Team War, they didn't have a full 4 dead, so you know they've overextended or the spawns have flipped. 1 or 2, pick one, and you're going to be correct. It's 187 to 168. Orglis are methodically, carefully, and calculating with their pushes and their holds, and they are not relinquishing anything on this hill.
That was 11 kills at a minimum unanswered from the side of Orglis. Team War seeing themselves down by 20 seconds off of what was a great spree from the guys in blue, pulling themselves ahead in this game. 20 seconds remain on this hard point, so they could knot it all up here, but the pressure seemed to have just now fizzled out as Vortex is the last to fall. The rotation comes through, and Team War, they're all over it, sending 2 players, Lucky and Metals, to deal with this player in the back, Harry. At range with the AR, he's able to connect with a Semtex before falling, but it was a good defensive effort to start with, and we still see the remaining players of Orglis looking to pick up on that positioning. But Team War, they have the left side, the lower left side spawns. We'll have to see what Orglis does with this information.
Nasty again, not having the greatest of games, but it's not about how many kills you get, it's about what the kills mean. 15 and 22, and this last big one came on a break that might have helped for spawns, but you have mid-map pressure here for Orglis, numbers for War, so give and take a couple, but trades continue to fall on the outside of the hill. Orglis still have numbers inside, they're gaining the time, and when they're to contest for War, not really. The spawns are a bit split. One overextended out, it's Lucky trying to basically flank through the back and get a good break from the front with the rest of his team, but everyone else is getting picked up by Nasty and Josh. Here comes Vortex. Hipfire won't connect. Lucky able to stay alive for the moment. How long will it truly last? We go back to the top of the cabin, and guess what? It's Nasty there, but Nvidian responds quickly.
Scrap time to Team War, set up here in favor of Orglis. We see 1 player fall, but it looks like Vortex is going to be staying alive alongside Harry in the double kill he just collected. Slipping that right into his back pocket, though. They still have some players from Team War pushing up through the plane. That's Lucky with a bit of support that begins to fall around him. He's outnumbered and tagged up. Forced to take cover here. We see the lethals and tacticals coming out. No trophy system support on either side, so that's stalling the engagement a bit here. Trying to find a connection with some shots through the wall is Lucky. He still doesn't have the support he needs to find these kills. He ends up being his own cleanup crew as he finds 2 in a row. Hill turned over to Team War, still down by about 30 seconds. They could knot it up here on this hard point. It won't be easy though, Space.
This is looking a little bit dangerous, though. I mean, Lucky with a massive 3 kills. I don't want to say anyone's working on streaks because they're not, but we've seen this NASA Hill go back and forth a couple of times, but it's always been Orglis who have walked away with the lead and the hole. They're already set up. Now you're looking at one team hit through the front for War. They need the subsequent kills if they want a decent chance to be able to get this break. Well, here comes the new hill, and here comes the collapse. Team War impressive 2 numbers. So far, no one's been able to get a break. Middle through the back somehow wins that gunfight. He gets shut down. Close spawns are there for Orglis, but War is here as well. They're spawning right in the front, and it's just everyone running up into the hill. Shots ring out. Harry finds a stick, and still more will drop. Everyone beginning to get traded, and it looks like for the moment, Orglis will walk away with the win.
Orglis in control. They clear them all out. Team War, they still have just enough time to get inside of the hard point, but it won't be easy. They're getting mowed down, swatted like flies as they jump off the wing of the plane, and that's going to be the end of the hard point. Orglis takes it in the end, 250 to 227. An awesome comeback to watch.
Such a big hold at the end. I mean, Lucky, even those 3 kills in the plane, you're thinking, okay, here comes the comeback, but the story of this entire hard point was really Orglis' ability to rotate early, have a clean setup, keep kills on the outside of the hill, lock down spawns against Team War. And when there were moments where they were getting pressured right through the front, I mean, their cleanup crew was coming through consistently. Josh and Harry and Vortex finding the necessary kills to clean out the hill. Once that happened, then you're just worried about rotation. And so far, they were winning that as well. I mean, Fox, kind of looking at the recap of this series, or this game, I should say, it was consistently watching Orglis get set up early, hold down time, and find ways to pick up kills when it mattered most.
That's right. That's right. We saw a whole lot of that. It was Orglis really clicking. I think that what we saw out of them is the coordination we expected of them in their last 2 series today. Right, we're finally starting to see them click, and it's unfortunate that it's taken it this long because War will definitely not make it easy to close out the series that way.
Now you gotta wonder. We go into an S&D at this point, and for Orglis, I mean, they've looked more cohesive in S&D for a while. But you do wonder, what will Metals and Lucky bring? Can Journey find a way to slow down the train that seems to be Josh so far in these series? He's been absolutely electric. You got to look at Nasty and Vortex on the opposite end as the subs to be able to respond. But we go into an Express S&D, which makes me want to just, like, never stop smiling. I'm so glad finally someone picked it. But this is going to be a big matchup, right? Because again, the lines of sight on Express are very, very different from Moscow and Miami. Like, you can get picked off as a sub if you're not lucky moving through the train. And you got to wonder, that's probably where Vortex is going to be hanging out most.
And that train is so important. That's where all the mind games are played. You know, back in the day with the original Black Ops 2, setting foot in that train is so loud. That creaking sound is so unique and easy to pick up. You know, the submachine gun players are going to have a field day with that section of the map here this time. I think that we've seen before just how well coordinated Team War is in Search and Destroy, right? I think that Journey plays really well around the objective in particular. So he's someone that's going to stand out to me in this Search and Destroy. But I mean, we say it all the time. We have Orglis up on screen, Josh and company, Josh and whoever else he's with. You know, you have a great mind in your arsenal right there. That's a huge tool.
You absolutely do, and God forbid if we go to a control, I don't believe it's raid that coming up for map 3, but if we go to a control and the same thing happens, if Orglis find a way to be able to lock down the map the way they did, I'm going to lose it, man. You cannot feed Josh and Harry that many kills, and there you go, checkmate, so we won't be seeing that level of a spawn trap, but guess what? The equalizer of raid comes up in game 5. If we go to an S&D for the final map of this series, it's going to be a doozy. I'm telling you right now. Game 4, Garrison hardpoint, but at this moment, recap, Orglis won Game 1, 250-227. And up next is S&D on Express. It's a good time to be a COD fan, and that just means Checkmate Control, which can be about as chaotic as ever, will be our 3rd map in this series. And until we get there, predictions going into this, again, I have to feel that if we get a good performance out of Vortex, and if Josh and Harry can lock down the traffic and direct the chaos, you could be looking at a 2-0 series lead for Orglis and a good chance in this entire couple of games so far tonight to really have a clear-cut winner.
Yeah, I'm with you. I see Orglis taking this Express Search and Destroy, something like 6-4. I also would not doubt seeing Team War in the lead at some point, but I think that in the end, Orglis will pull ahead.
I think the battle is going to be between the ARs, man. Again, the lines of sight are huge. Looking at Catwalk, you're looking at maps. all the way down to ticketing where you know, subs can isolate 1v2 situations, and with the right positioning, the right movement, you can win those handedly. We've seen what the FAR has done on this map. Shout out Big Bruce. Will we see it again? Probably not. Europe tends to be a little bit different when it comes to the meta, but so far, nades fly out, bullets fly out, but no one drops.
Oh, it's a full hit. We're seeing all 8 players on site on B. First submachine gun engagement goes down, and Orglis is going to come out on top with the first blood. And we see all the pieces falling into place for the rest of this execution here, as Team War is unable to respond. Orglis, they just come out on top here. They came out the gates hot and won that one.
They said it feels like 2012. Okay, bet. Everyone just run mid, and they all did. I have absolutely no idea what happened in that round. Everyone died, and well, Orglis walk away with the win. So if you just keep playing like that, and that's the strat for both teams, this might be a very quick S&D, but a quick one in the board. 1-0 lead for Orglis. Josh with 2 kills. On the opposite end, Journey, the only one to strike back.
Kind of hilarious. Both teams looking to overwhelm each other right off the start.
Yeah. Like, if that's the strat, okay, sign me up. But as long as we're committing, that's fine. And it looks like the call might be to B as Vortex thinking about quick plant, but not quite sure where Lucky is on the opposite end.
Bomb not yet safe to go down here. Vortex taking his time to play for a bit of information before he gets to go ahead. And you see that triangular formation set up at the bottom between players 6, 5, and 8 for Orglis. Nothing gets past them. Vortex is going to be watching the route just besides them here, and you see Nasty able to overlook the bomb site with chest high cover and a high ground advantage. Easy shots down range. The Semtex connects as well. I mean, Orglis are just in a perfect spot to defend this bomb site. Post plant positioning is going to be so difficult to break, and it's a 1v3 metals. That's over. Orglis up 2-0.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like watching old clips from a decade ago. What Vortex was doing down low reminds you of John, what he was able to do on this map. You put the most confident sub in that position to be able to win gunfights as they rotate down to the bomb. That's what Vortex does. You put your ARs up top to watch ticketing. Nasty able to shut down one at a time. Orglis taking another round. And it's a very quick start to this game too. And yes, it's only 2 rounds, but Fox, it's looked very commanding even on the bull rush that was round 1.
Yeah, that's a pretty nuts way to open up the round. We saw Orglis committing to this same strategy 3 straight times now as they send all 4 players to B. They find that no one's home. I imagine they hold on to this for just a few more seconds before kind of setting up to develop on the A side of the map. Of course, you give away a lot of ground when you send all 4 players to the B site. Knowing this, they kind of weasel their way through the hallway, and they're able to check this site. They know someone's home. They understand the competition's around the corner, and all 4 players are here to meet this defense so well. Engagements unfolding. 3 go in favor of Team War, with just a response of 1. It's just all 4 players collapsing on top of one another round after round in this S&D.
I was sitting here thinking, well, Metals, that's a cheeky challenge, but the Guardian Angels in the back, you got Maps locked down, you got Journey on the other side. I mean, I was looking at Invidian at the top of the minimap. He was number 1, and you're thinking, okay, you need to rotate. If you're going to go for this bomb, you try to get him in a position to be able to cut from the back catwalk, cut down the players pushing onto the site on defense. Team War just say, you know what, Journey, Metals, just go on up. Just handle your business. They take care of everyone. All 4 dead. That was impressive. Lucky needs to be careful. The train might be coming soon, but you got 3 members of Orglis. Bomb carrier will be Nasty, pushing right up into the site. Metals on the screen, and will pick up 1, working in tandem with Journey. 2 kills now for Team War. Trying to make it 3. Vortex cut in the middle of the train. He's going to get traded out quickly if he's not careful.
Vortex, he knows someone's coming around the corner. Journey was ready for the gunfight, still not able to come out on top. Vortex staying alive is huge right here because the bomb is down next to him in this 1 versus 3. If he can isolate these gunfights, that's a clutch, but no, Team War, much smarter than that. They tag him up and finish the job. Team shot to win the round and tie it up at 2-2.
Whether it's offense or defense, Fox, Orglis are working as a pack. They're working as a group of 4. So Team War has just essentially said the age-old S&D strat, okay, B didn't work because we're getting rushed right up the front. Let's just go to the other side and try to spread out. Orglis fall forward both times. They get caught together, and Team War in a better position both rounds. And they get 2 right back.
Straight down to B. It's just 1 player from Team War. I think he just kind of sat there as a decoy for the remaining players of Orglis that don't seem too fooled as they immediately reroute towards the A site. I don't believe they took the bait. This looks to be the exact same way they played this defense the last time. They will be able to meet the Team War players. All 4 players on defense here still alive. It's going to be a tough one to beat.
Trades are here, but Orglis have numbers. Invidian working over the top by play spoiler. He's going to get one. Can he get both? Not going to happen, but he might have done his job. What a great challenge and a win. That's an ego chow for you, and that's a round win for War. 3-2. Invidian playing spoiler in the back.
I think that this play from Invidian going through mid, we get to see it one more time, was huge and was exactly what stopped this play from unfolding. We saw them try to send all 4 players back through their spawn to wrap up and support the A bomb site. And of course, taking heed from the last time they experienced it, Team War had someone to disrupt it.
Team War have responded 3 straight rounds, even though Lucky, again, 1 and 4. Boo-hoo. Everyone else is doing their job to perfection. Oh, another front push. Here we go. Vortex, who's he going to find first? Invidian holding close left angle. First blood for Team War. Second blood. Third blood. Fourth blood. Give it to him. Just cut him down. He's in the back. You've got everyone here. There it is. Team War, 4-2.
Metals out here collecting heads for his mantle. Take a look at this push. The frontline submachine gun player bringing the action to him. He opens up with the first blood. Does not let up. And just collects the change as it falls. The last player at the bottom there, of course, just barely getting away. And that was just a hot start and a hot finish from both teams as Team War still comes out on top. 5 in a row, says Invidian. Okay.
I mean, he's been having himself a game. We talk about Orglis needing to kind of control the chaos right through Josh and Harry. Vortex and Nasty they're having fine games, but it's been a collective effort for this S&D. They've just been getting picked apart. Better positioning from Team War, better counterplay, very standard fundamental S&D that's been working for Team War in this game too. Can Orglis mount the comeback now? Rather be down 4-3 than 5-2. Josh working through the back, but Lucky's gonna spot him. Josh needs to be careful in the peak. And here comes Invidian for the challenge, and Invidian for the first blood.
Invidian finds first blood to continue the streak. We do see Journey fall though, and it seems as though that Orglis player will get away with their life. The remaining Team War players already setting up for their offensive push to get the bomb down on the A site. At a distance is Harry with a line of sight on the bomb, so he will be able to alert the rest of Orglis, and you see those arrows all commencing onto this point. Shots from downrange. Lucky almost tagged up and finished, but he does get away with his life. That's going to be big for post-plant positioning, especially since they lost Invidian. Now it's 2 versus 3. The submachine gun of Metals does not care.
Jeez.
Team War comes out on top. They hold down Train. It's map point.
I mean, these trades, how quickly numbers fall for Orglis. You cannot say enough about it. I mean, look at this. Just complete control on the top of maps. 2 dead. Like, if you can't take Lucky out of that position, good luck trying to get anywhere near the bomb. You lose support from the catwalk. You're left in the bushes. What do? Well, you better hope you got a good shot. Lucky's got a better one right now. 3 and 5. Finds 2 kills in that round. And here's the call from Orglis, going right back to B. It hasn't worked for 2 rounds. Why not a third? But for Team War, they're actually not in a horrible spot to be able to play this counterattack through the bomb.
They commit to it. We saw the success of this the first time it played through. However, Team War will be expecting it this time around. They do find the first blood, and that's going to be a huge difference from the last time because this back left side, this back left alleyway, does not have the support of a submachine gun player just around the corner. Nasty pre-aiming this is going to take his attention away from the B site, which is why we see Journey slip through, find 1 kill, second one unanswered as well, and they clean it up just like that. So you saw getting first blooded after that plant right there, Space, ended up crumbling the play before them.
Yeah, they were not in a bad position at all, and if Journey's snapping like that and you can't take him down when he's weak, yeah, good luck in this S&D, pals. Guess what? Team War respond. They're now tied up in the series, and Journey just makes quick work of everyone. Nasty had an AR in hand, so he switches to that instead of running the AK-74U, but it did nothing. And Fox, can't see me right now, but I got my hands up in the air. That was clinical. That was just a clinical, easy peasy 1-2-3 S&D from Team War. Counter attack, counter strats. This isn't working. We're just gonna go to the other site. We're gonna pick up kills. We're gonna trade together as a team. This and that. Like, that was just Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of said it great right there. Orglis was really committed to the kind of death ball composition, just running around the map as a unit of 4, making quick hits and quick decisions. But Team War very quickly in the early stages of the game caught up to it and were able to in the moment, in the heat of the moment, call that audible and disrupt the play. And in the end, they're able to close it out with a very, very tactically played search and destroy.
Yeah, and you can see the replays here. I mean, out the start, Orglis very, very hot. Nasty was picking up players left and right. And he was in a good position, but it started with Metals, right? This round right here, obviously, they won 6-2, so yeah, it had to be that round. But the quick collapse in on the site, the team trading that happened, quickly numbers were falling. And that was kind of the story of this game, Fox, is that when numbers fell for Orglis, it wasn't just, oh, we're in a 4v3, oh, now we're in a 3v2. It was, oh, we've lost one member, now we've lost 2, now we lost 3. We've lost people quickly, and they never had that many in the back line to be able to trade it out. So they were always playing 4v2s or 3v1s. They never had a situation where they were able to trade it out after getting picked.
That's right.
It didn't work.
Every time there was a hole, Team War filled the gap, and they did it swiftly, right? We saw it unfold from the hands of Metals. We saw Journey do a lot of the same as well. You know, they find that weakness and they exploit it, and we're seeing themselves tied up against Orglis here in this series at 1-1 as we head into a checkmate control. So we saw a very competitive hardpoint. Orglis, of course, still pulling it through in the end. Team War makes short work of them in the search and destroy. So, Space, I got to ask you, where do you think that leaves us as we come into our checkmate control?
Well, if you're Orglis, you better hope that you have the same kind of control you had on Raid. I feel like Team War needed that win desperately, right, to obviously keep the series alive. But I mean, again, it's kind of a mirror match of what we saw in the last series, man. Like what Mavericks did so well against Orglis was that they were able to take the fight to them, like a lot of what Team War just did. But Orglis were really good at being able to, you know, surround Mavericks when it came to things like control and find team trades really quickly. We just saw Team War do the same thing, finding team trades. So I feel like we're watching a mirror match of what we just saw, where again, Orglis are going to be questioned about, what do we get out of Nasty? What do we get out of Vortex? Do the AR show up? And for Team War, you know, you have to be able to steal a control, because this is probably Orglis's best game mode at the moment today. The S&Ds handedly went your way, and the hard point wasn't that bad either. So this is a very big matchup for Orglis, but Team War are in a good spot.
Team War have to be feeling pretty good after that search and destroy. Hopping into the checkmate control, we're looking through the eyes of Metal for the oh-so-important initial engagement on plane. He ends up falling at a distance, though. Shots coming in from crates as 3 in a row rang through for Orglis. Of course, that's going to be our defensive team, sitting pretty, planting their feet, waiting for the next onslaught from Team War, who need to get out of their spawn. But you can see Vortex is in the mix and behind enemy lines. Seeing Vortex and Harry so disruptive back here is something that War has to respond to right now.
And one of the things that Orglis did so well against their matchup at Mavericks, and what Nasty is doing to perfection right now, 4 kills in a row. Make it 5. One more on the opposite end. Is he going to go for the challenge? Yeah, he will give it to him. Almost gets the 6th. But what Orglis did so well in their last series, especially in Control, Fox, they always had the life lead and they never relinquished it. They found ways to continue to chain kills together and make not only the time a factor, but make the kills a factor, and the life count continues to favor them going into this game.
Right, Team War still trailing behind by about 5 kills here, getting into the next fight on the A point. They will get a little bit of tick progress here as they make their way through the second tier. Orglis is not letting up the pressure, though. It seems that they don't want to give away point A just yet. However, they need Vortex to get into the mix. Him falling on plane here might be the end of their play on A, even if it is Josh and Harry still nearby. Let's see what they can do. Finding 2 big kills. On the point, that's exactly what they needed as they defended, because you can see just how they were dangerously close from completing point A right there, Space.
Yeah, you got 20 seconds now. Working on that 3rd tick on A. Nasty, not even letting him get close. Spawns are so far back in E2. I mean, Team War, what do? You can't get anywhere near the points. You're not killing anything. Vortex is flying into your spawn, somehow almost winning the gunfights. 5 seconds to go. You got to get a couple of kills. You got to get them now. That might be enough. Metals will get in with 1.4. Here come the nades. He should drop. He will. Will that be enough? No, we got members at B as well. Team War surviving for the moment.
Absolutely nuts so far that it's really just been Metals finding kills on the point. Lucky and Journey have not been able to get on the objective and really keep that pressure up that we would expect from them in that role that they play. But We see that round ends up falling, or they end up falling that round. A stellar defense coming from the side of Orglis, which was more of just an aggressive offense, right? Always in their face, always disrupting those spawns, and it bought them a lot of time that Team War couldn't get back.
Harry with the Reaper title card for a reason. In controls, he's been the rapture. He has just been absolutely lights out today when it comes to this game 3. And it's a shame we only get to see control once in the series because, I mean, if you were asking teams to win 2 controls in a best of 5, that might change things and that might make Harry an absolute demon on the map. But for now, Orglis taking the first round. Will they take 2? Middle's in on the point. Orglis on attack. So far, kills are there for Team War, and it looks like it's going to be another clean hold on defense.
One of the better moments of the map so far for Team War. However, Orglis is still answering back. The pressure on middle map is not absolute. We have Lucky and Journey still in the mix, but they will be met by Vortex and Harry here soon. Let's see what they do with it. Harry left all on his lonesome as Vortex falls in front of him. It's a one-on-one engagement on the plane, and we see Team War does come out on top again. But that's because most of the efforts from Orglis, the remaining efforts from that last wave, are on the A point. And just as they cross that threshold for the first tier, we start to see Team War spring into action and try to stop it.
And remember, the control overtime works different. It's not about the kills anymore. It's about the progress on the point. So every single tick means something now. Nasty doing his job as well as he can. Vortex now inside of A. It's one of the harder ones to cap in the beginning of the year. It's gotten a little bit easier as defenses and offenses have worked out how they want to play it appropriately, but we put another minute on the clock, so 1:49 to go. Lives there for Team War just by 1, just by a hair. Journey on your screen working through the back of P2. He's 4 and 10. Make it 5 and 10. One on the opposite end. Will he be able to find it? So far, no. And I think Vortex understands that Journey might be overextending. He did. So you clean up that backline offensive player. Now you're just looking at numbers going onto the point, but Metals is hesitant to push up because once he does, that's going to come from the collapse of Orglis. So he's going to get traded, and it might all be for naught. It's just about how Team War play this, but they have no plane control at the moment.
Yeah, we saw Lucky was supposed to be their plane control. He ends up backing up after getting outnumbered. Orglis continues to pour through, and they've taken over the plane. They still have one player just around them. That's going to be Nvidian, who was alive from that last wave of engagements. But he's been able to really duck around and wait for support here as Lucky is now able to come out and help him. Of course, getting trapped in the corner isn't going to do a whole lot as the Semtex does connect and detonate, and we see Orglis maintain control of the plane.
Nasty will escape with his life. You got a minute to go and 16 to 9. We might not even have to look at the time clock or the point on B, but they're all stacked. They just want to close this one out. No one's in a position to contest for War. And what a great retake through the plane. They clear it out. And as soon as it's cleared out, instead of just playing the kills, they say, you know what? Even if we all 4 die at this moment, we're still with enough of a lead to be able to come back and just fight 16 versus 9 when it comes to the kill count. Let's just hop on the point, close out this round. And they do so and go up 2-0.
Orglis looking great so far in Checkmate control here, Space. I think we have to really commend their aggression. We have to commend their initiative in the way that they're able to get behind enemy lines and stay there with the submachine guns. Team War still with some time to answer back, but not a whole life left in them at this point, it seems. Lucky finds himself double negative. No one from the side of Team War yet to surpass 10 kills. So as we open things up here, we see Nasty beelining straight for the B site. Not a whole lot of action there though, as the remaining players are all on A. Semtexes and stuns are coming out, and we see all gunfights go in favor of Team War in that encounter, and it's still favoring them. That's 4 in a row, unanswered so far from the side of Team War. Orglis, as they come up off of spawn, they dive straight into the plane, but they need to hop on to this point as Tier 2 progress is well underway. Tier 3 progress, close to completion. They're going to give that one up and maintain control of B. They now have to hold down defense for over 2 minutes.
I don't know if I'd call it a strap, but Team War basically just saying, let's punch Orglis in the mouth and get onto the point, win a couple of gunfights, see what we can muster up. So far, I mean, listen, it's working quite well. It's 29-24 in the life lead. Lucky on your screen, top of the plane. Well, he's not able to find anything as 2 will fall, make it 3. Finally, Nvidian cleans up the kill feed. Not able to find the 4th, but Orglis do their job, and they're able to clean up everyone from Team War who was pushing up, and now they buy themselves some time on the defensive end. We've seen them spawn trap teams like this before. Will we see it again? Josh takes down Lucky. he's not long for this world. And here come the numbers as Nasty is able to make it 2, make it 3, and everyone's starting to drop very quickly for Team War.
Yeah, this has got to be a real disappointing moment if you're a player on Team War. You see how quickly you could take that A point. You think, oh, great, we got a little over 2 minutes to knock out the second one, and then instantly punished. Dropped into a spawn trap. Orglis, they're just not letting you breathe. Your 4 players survive now, but you still have Harry behind you to deal with. You're constantly checking your corners. They're making you waste a little bit of time that you do have left. And as we get to the under 60 seconds remaining, Orglis, they're right back into a commanding position on the map.
On the defensive end, Orglis have been about as textbook as you could ask. Not very eventful so far in this third round, but standard across the board. Josh cleans up another. And you're looking at numbers for Team War. I mean, you got one good push, man. You're down 6 lives. You're about to be down 8 if you're not careful. Harry knows Vidian's here, and Vidian has the better trigger finger at this moment. And you got 28 seconds to make a play.
28 seconds. You've been on respawn for most of the time. You earned yourself here. They're really just pouring it on here. Orglis not letting up. I mentioned earlier just the little bit of pressure that we've seen out of Lucky and Journey has not been on the objective. You can see their objective stats right there in the column. Orglis, they're just not letting them get close.
Dude, this spawn trap is ridiculous. They continue to find a way to do this, man. These controls have not been close today. I mean, what is that, like 9, 10 kills in a row?
Smoked. Absolutely. I mean, really, Orglis just walked through them that map.
I mean, what is going on with this team's control? They are just a different level right now. They are getting teams in spawn traps that just shouldn't work for the duration of time they're working. Nasty was uncontested, walking through the spawn. Didn't get shot at once. That was a very, very dominant control, and now Orglis is up 2-0 in the series. We know what this might mean if we go the distance, but we got a hard point coming up next, man. But just looking at that control, I mean, that was all Orglis. They won 3-0. There was not a single time where Team War were other than when they got one full tick onto A, there was not a time where they were close, dude. Orglis are different when it comes to control. It seems like for teams, the key to victory is steal that map from them.
Yeah, it really didn't seem like there was ever a point where Team War was going to step back into it and make a difference. I mean, of course, they captured the A point in that final round, but Orglis was all over them in an instant. I mean, this highlight reel should probably be all blue because that's what we saw a lot of in the kill feed. Orglis just stomping Team War in their own spawn, constantly sending someone back there to waste their time so that the remaining Orglis players could get set up and do it all over again. It was just rinse and repeat.
Basically hit the nail on the head there, brother. Rinse and repeat. What more can you really say about the control? Nasty was 24-9. We didn't even really talk about it. He was 25-9. Like, it continued. He didn't stop. He was consistently being a factor. And that's what we talk about 1,000 times with this roster. When Nasty is contributing and Vortex is comfortable with this sub, that is when this team is the most dangerous, and that is one of the reasons why they were the Season 2 champions. They are so good when they get on a roll. And now we go to a hardpoint, Fox. Predictions. Let's look at the maps.
Hey, look, they're on a roll right now. I think that we keep seeing the ball rolling. I think that Orglis closes it out here on Garrison hardpoint. They got the hot hand, completely smoked Team War in the control. I mean, the search and destroy was certainly a lapse in their ability in this series, but I think that we're looking at an Orglis that's just ready to end the night, right? They've gone to Game 5 twice in a row. They don't want to extend it any further.
They absolutely don't. They say, okay, tomorrow's the playoff bracket. We know it's a long day of matches. We know there's a good chance we're gonna have to play some of the best teams in the region. Let's just win as quickly as possible. But for Team War, this kind of falls in the same realm of disappointment they've had so far this year, which, again, they're in the knockout gauntlet, so it's not like it's a lost cause, but for both the organization's name when they finally come back into the Challengers division, and also the roster itself, more was expected from this group of 4, and so far they have not lived up to set expectations. Now they come into a situation where they're one map away from being relegated out, and next season, to get there, they're going to have to play through another tournament to get into Challengers Elite. This was a pretty underwhelming season, I guess you could say, for Team War, but they're in a situation now where they got one hardpoint and one S&D on raid to really get the job done and move on to tomorrow. But Fox, you know, I feel like Orglis again. I think Nasty's starting to warm up. Vortex is already warmed up. I think the engine is currently online for Orglis, and they're just trying to take care of everything like it's just another day in the office.
Yeah, they're booted up and ready to go now. I think that we do see them close that window of opportunity that Team War seemed to have for themselves in Map 1, right? We saw a weakened Orglis. We saw probably an exhausted Orglis at this point, right? These are really tense moments, and even with Team War playing with relegation in the back of their mind, it doesn't seem to be enough for them to come over top of Orglis here. 3-0 in that control. I mean, really, just Orglis today is putting the hurt on people in that game mode. You got to be demoralized coming into Game 4 after stuff like that.
Yeah, you want everyone to learn how to play control. Just go watch Orglis do it for like 5 minutes. Like they'll show you how to spawn trap effectively, how to win rotations as a team, how to contest the point correctly, how to find trades as a team. Like they just have been clinical today when it comes to that game 3. And you know, a lot of times we talk about teams in series and saying, okay, you need to steal an S&D, you need to steal a respawn, and specifically like hard points. Controls for the future. Anybody watching this, any team that's ever wondering what to do against Orglis, take a control off them and you'll probably have a good chance to win the series. That might be your key to victory. But at this moment, we go to Garrison, we go to hardpoint on game 4, and we go to what could be the final map of the series. Orglis need one win, whether it's here or in game 5, and they will go on to tomorrow to the playoff bracket. For Team War, you're hoping to send this to a game 5.
Team War hoping to get to game 5 against our Stage 2 finals. Orglis, we got Josh, Nasty, Harry, Vortex coming off of a hot victory on Checkmate control. As we load into the hard point, they've got to have that fire lit behind them. Opening engagements, we do see a response. It looks like Josh is going to be staying alive around the objective here, just supporting his players inside the vents. Great spot to be. As you can see, he's able to help both the objective and stop them as they come up. Stop Team War as they come up off of their spawn. This entire lane under watch by 2 crucial submachine gun players on the side of Orglis.
And we've seen Orglis on this map in mode. You know, last series in game 1, it didn't go their way by any stretch, but at least they're warmed up to some extent, and Josh does not get enough credit on this roster, what he's been able to do, not only with the team, but coming down, being a coach last season for an entire year. And he comes into this roster, he wins a championship with them, and he keeps them in contention and in conversation of being one of the best teams in Europe. Sub in hand, Harry with the Krieg 6. I mean, so far, a great start for Orglis. We go to P2, we go all the way to Radar, and we'll see how Team War are able to break.
We got a great defense here. Green is closed as Orglis is able to secure the final kill they needed on that part of the map. The rest of the competition is coming from Arches, Journey, and Metals alongside one another with the submachine gun. They get through, but they get cut short. They're not able to turn over the hard point. Lucky is still in position as well, is still trying to be in the mix as well, but Vortex does not let him complete the job. And now we see he's also able to set up for a flank for in this next push to disrupt it. Big disruption right here as he's able to allow Josh to push up here, finish off the job, find that kill. The rest of his teammates, of course, have that information of the remaining players pushing in from Arches. And Team War, they're able to turn over the hard point and get the scrap time. This is going to allow them to tie it up again at around 41 seconds. The initial rotation has already begun with the remaining players, though, and they are outnumbering the single Orglis player set up for it. That's Vortex that falls.
Nvidian's having a great start, 7-2. Smoking everyone on the map. Finally gets cut down top green, but positions are there, and Team War will have the early hold. We go to P3. In the back of caution, it's Nvidian on your screen, who, again, has been a catalyst so far in the start of this hard point. 60 points in counting. Finally gets challenged, and the challenge will be 1, but Team War respawn, trades back and forth for both sides. No one getting a clear-cut hold on the hill, but an awkward close spawn there for Team War, so they should be able to get the last 30 or so seconds. Surviving one more wave from Orglis players, but Orglis are already thinking about P4 on the floor. They don't want to give up a lot of pressure at mid-map. Last thing you want to do is flip spawns and get stuck on the next rotation. Nvidian on your screen. Can't cut down one more, but that might be the last push from Orglis as they all rotate back.
Team War, they're holding on to it since their lead change. They've propelled themselves 50 seconds into the lead here as we come into P3. You see, though, this next, the initial time on this hard point is certainly up for grabs as both teams are in the mix here, even with scrap time going to Team War. Last player alive, Journey falls, so now it's going to be Nvidian and Lucky as they try to stop Orglis from getting this initial time.
How does Nasty only have 4-5 engagements? How is this possible? We've gone through 4 hills. How does he only have 5 engagements?
Yeah,
I mean,
not
that's
a whole
probably
lot
one
of
of the
time.
reasons why they're. Yeah, that's probably one of the reasons why they're down currently. The man only has 5 engagements. He's got 2 kills. I don't know where he's been on the map. I don't know what he's doing, but okay, that works too. He's alive in the hill, not for long. Lucky comes in, shreds 2. The break is there for Team War, but Orglis somehow finds a way back to get Harry. And Invidian in a battle of the ARs, and Invidian is winning it handily off the start. Almost gets the 3rd, but Lucky is there. And Team War starting to light up the kill feed.
Yeah, Team War breaking that 100-point mark. They're going to be awarded with the scrap time here shortly. As you can see, they also are favored to get the initial time for the new hard point. As you can see, Journey's going to spawn up on arches right next to that hill. And as we see Orglis pour through middle map, they're still going to be met by the Team War spawn that should be close. But it looks like Harry gets it as well. On the southern corner of the map, he's actually able to be behind the enemy team, and I'm not sure if they see this coming. Okay, looks like Metals had him accounted for and was able to end that before it began, but that was looking pretty scary for a moment.
Well, they must have known at least just because the spawns were out on a parallel to
Right.
radar, so they're probably thinking, okay, there's got to be at least one out here. If not, we got some kind of weird spawn going on, so therefore it means we're going to play this hill a little bit differently. But they guessed correctly. So far it works out. Harry able to pick up 1, 2 in the kills for Orglis. But no one's really had a clean hold on this P5. And remember, we're already waiting for the next hill where Vortex is. We're going to go back to P1 on the 2nd rotation. And Vortex working under the middle of the map. He's already thinking a couple of hills ahead. He wants green control. He wants to make sure they're set up for radar and for gun. But it's got to come through kills at the middle of the map. Luckily, his teammates are doing the job. Metal's able to cut down 2. And Vortex gets found out and snuffed out by Invidian. So it looks like Orglis might be setting up for a couple of hills to link together. But Team War says absolutely not. We're going to work our way back in this game.
Yeah, and they have Metals to thank, right? He sniffed out the flank right off the right from the get-go, and then found 5 straight kills after that. He's been able to hold down Green Box here in a stellar way as his team leads by about 60 seconds. Orglis is in control of the hard point, so as he falls, you expect to see the remaining map pressure go in favor of Orglis. Team War looking to stabilize and get re-engaged here for the objective because Orglis is pulling themselves further and further back into this game. Lights is under heavy watch though, so you have to imagine the submachine gun players should have it on lock here, and they're going to need to wait for some support to unfold from Satellite, from Green. But as you can see, those gunfights are being lost as well, and this hill is just all Orglis.
It was Vortex versus, I believe, Metals in the back at new, and Vortex walked away with the win. Harry rotates over now, and Harry is trying to find those spawns in the back for Team War, but Orglis are actually in a decent position, but they're getting chased from the back, and there's the kill that might open things up. It will. Floods from the top of Green. Nasty wins the big gunfight. Lucky comes in for the challenge and the break, but Orglis walk away victorious in the team fight for the moment. Now everybody sending numbers into the hill, and on the bottom, it's Team War and Invidian, Krieg in hand. He has been absolutely perfect so far in this hard point. Can he go big once more to continue this lead for Team War?
Invidian looking to be the first player to break 20 kills. As he does it, he would get the 5 streak as his team maintains defense on Satellite. It's being disrupted at this point by the submachine gun players and by Nasty with his AR. Harry diving in the back as well with the Krieg in hand. He's able to connect with 2 big kills to turn the hill back over towards Orglis. As they trail by 50 seconds, Team War mounts for their next push coming from arches. And we see they're successful so far, outnumbering, swarming the hard point and taking it all over. They're now awarded with green control as well as we begin the rotation to new.
170 to 113. Game 5's looking much more likely. Team War have played this hard point much differently than they did in map 1. They took the S&D. They got smoked in the control. Orglis desperately clawing their way back in this game, but War are not relinquishing anything when it comes to locking down the hill. I mean, it's been gunfights back and forth and trades back and forth for both teams. Finally, Team War will be inside, and Journey will be the point man in the moment. Vortex and Josh working together. Can they collapse in for 2? Well, Journey shooting like that's not going to let them. A trade will be there. Invidian in the back has to do his job, won't do so. Harry finding another. But with all these trades, it just always feels like it favors Team War. Even when Orglis are able to find 2 or 3 kills, War are never not pressuring the hill.
Yeah, it seems like any sort of neutral engagement is still favoring Team War at this point with that 70-second lead. These guys have been able to keep up the same pace since this map has started, and Orglis, they need to be answering back here soon. Otherwise, Team War running away with this, and we're going to Game 5. And that would be Orglis' 3rd Game 5 in a row today. I'm sure these guys are tired of it at this point. 3 straight, right off the top. The initial time goes to Team War as they turn it over.
If you're Orglis, yeah, you're probably tired of going to game 5, but man, just stop going to game 5. Find a way to close it
It's
out.
easy.
They're not able to do so. Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
don't
it's easy.
lose.
It's just come on, just shoot back. It's easy. But with Nvidia streaking like this at 26 and 15, I mean, you don't need Journey, you don't need luckier medals to be able to do what they're doing. I mean, Nvidia is having the hard point of the series. Nasty working through top 3. Looking for a couple kills on the bottom, and it's Nvidia who's been tagged a couple of times, able to find the hip fire, and the nade will connect on a team kill, which only helps Team War's cause as numbers quickly fall, and a complete wipe. Team War smoked off the point, but even then, they are completely down, and they still get on for time. No one's there to contest. Orglis get 4 dead and get nothing out of it.
Orglis gets 4 dead and nothing out of it, but they do have the initial time for this next hard point. We've seen, however, how well Team War has been able to break the hills for the last 3-4 minutes of this game. I don't think that we're seeing Orglis answer to Nvidia well, who was the first player to approach 20 and now looks to approach 30 here before the game closes. They haven't been able to keep up with the pace of Team War, who have just been able to continue flooding the hard point with a marginal lead ahead of Orglis for at least since the mid stages of this map.
Yeah, and it's not even a situation of someone slacking. I mean, everyone on Orglis is doing fine, but the kills aren't coming to lock down the hill. They're getting broken very easily on their setup. Team War are just walking through the Orglis front line, which cannot happen. And with Lucky continuing just to bait players out of position, and with 2:42 to go, I mean, you need 8 points. You go to game 5. Team War are very, very comfortable right now. You win on any hill. You have to play perfect hardpoint if you're Orglis. Will they get the break? No one's in a round of position. No spawns there. No numbers there. We're going to game 5.
Team War pulling up a big win here in hardpoint against Orglis after getting trounced in the control. They come back with a vengeance in game 4 to bring us all the way to the end of this series here. And I think that if you talk about that map and you talk about that matchup, you have to talk about Nvidia. The man was a force. He had the majority of those kills and those explosive surges of momentum that Team War had in the early stages of the game that put them in such a great position throughout the rest of that map. And then he approached 30 kills and he broke 30 kills in the end there, Space. I mean, the guy was just nuts.
Yeah, I mean, he started off, what, like 6-0, 7-0, 7-2, something like that. He had a great start to the game, which kind of set the pace for Team War, and they rallied off that. They fed off his energy. He was able to be electric throughout the middle game, and then when they needed him to pick up kills on rotation, to find clutch 2 pieces, to find ways to shut down the front subs of Orglis as they moved into the new hill. Nvidia was there, man. He was the clutch guy. He was constantly finding ways to be annoying. It was a good start for Orglis. I mean, Josh was playing through caution. Things looked decent, but after that first hard point, Team War had the lead. They didn't really relinquish it. They were able to come back into radar. They got a solid hold there. And then after that, they just held down the entire game. They consistently won fights. Even when Orglis got 4 dead on the floor on P4, they still didn't get anywhere near the hill. Team War right back off spawn immediately in the hill. Like, it's difficult, man. You think 4 dead in 4v4 Call of Duty is big. It is. But if you can't move that 4v4 into positive timer, to positive positioning on the map, it's almost worse than having 5 people on the map, because you're just giving up so many chances to be able to get a lead in the game.
Yeah, and you take your pick throughout those many instances where Nvidia was able to quickly shut it down. We saw lots of them throughout the highlight reel. Planted the seed early and was just able to really spread his roots and influence everyone throughout that map. It was a stomping of a hard point in terms of his individual performance.
Yeah, it was definitely a hard point I didn't expect. Right, I thought Orglis would be a little bit more warmed up. Again, they looked like they were just kind of how they played the last hard point in their previous series against Mavericks, but they just looked like they were getting out traded, dude. Like, it just consistently losing trades to numbers, situations that shouldn't exist. And when they finally were getting some kills, they weren't chaining time together. They were getting a break and then getting broken. It was never getting a break and holding the break. So situations there were certainly, we have to call into question the integrity of their hardpoint game, but here's a series layout for you folks. It was a game 1 win. It was Orglis taking it 250 to 227. Team War bounced back in the Express S&D, and man, it did not disappoint. It was exciting, it was wild, and it was a stomping. Then we go to Control. Orglis looked like the Orglis of old. We go to game 4. Just now you saw Garrison hardpoint, and Team War won it there pretty convincingly. Now we go to Raid, the neutralizer, for game 5 S&D. Oh man, I gotta tell you, Fox, this one, I'm not so sure. I feel like with the dominance we saw from Team War, it wasn't back and forth like Mavericks versus Orglis. I feel like Team War have something figured out in S&D, and if they can just continue on that train and counter Orglis the way they have, this could be another very quick S&D.
Oh yeah, I'm feeling the same way. Something's up today. It's some real playoff energy going on right now because of the way Team War is playing. It's just and Orglis, the fact that they've gotten to this point, Game 5, 3 times in a row. I mean, something's in the water across the entirety of Europe right now. I guess, I don't know. Just seeing these guys get this far, and it's just been way out of character for these guys, and it's honestly made for a pretty exciting series.
It certainly has. And look, you talk about a team like Orglis who in stage 1, they were in the grand finals, right? They dropped to the formerly known Ram squad. Then they come to stage 2 finals. In the semifinals, they win against Los Galacticos. And then they come in here and they might get relegated out of the knockout bracket. Like, this team has been in the top. They've been in the sides. They've been in the bottom. They have been every single place you could imagine when it comes to these knockout brackets, these playoff brackets. And now there's a chance they might not even make it to the last day. They might not even make it to tomorrow. It's not a situation I thought they would be in for Team War, who has had a pretty underwhelming season. This is a situation to take out a team that is arguably above you in the rankings and above you in many people's minds, and to show that this Team War roster is legit, that they are the real 4-man squad that you expected, and that they can bounce back and be resilient and scrappy when called upon.
That's right. And if you all tuned in with us today, we've been waiting alongside Elevate and Amelia Slays as teams Maverick, War, 3G, and Orglis play out their matches in the knockout bracket. We're getting up to this point now. Game 5 between Team War and Orglis, and it has been wildly inconsistent and unpredictable. It's going to be an exciting conclusion here as we load into Raid, Search, and Destroy.
It certainly will. You got 2 members pushing up now for War. Might be looking at first blood in a moment. Metals does a 360. Hold on a minute. Nades fly out. He's going to find Nasty. Surely he gets traded, but maybe not. Numbers are here. Here comes the pinch. 2 more fall. 4v1. Orglis, a little bit uncharacteristically clueless on that defensive end as Harry gets cut down. And, you think Nasty sees numbers moving through art, but he just sits there and waits for that nade and just does nothing.
Yeah, of course, maybe a bit shaken here in the opening moments of this search and destroy. Of course, both teams just kind of playing out their normal executions, taking simple jabs at the enemy team, trying to figure out what's going on here. So a simple conclusion there, as we saw that Team War are able to wipe out all 4 players with no response whatsoever. Something about their opening push was clicking perfectly, and now it's going to be Orglis's attempt at their first offense. Forget the bomb here.
It looked like Orglis were trying to play a little bit slower, like compared to what they did in Express, which just run right up the middle. They're saying, okay, we're going to let War kind of get some ground on the field, and then we'll try to respond through their hits. But Team War did the opposite. They said, we're running right into your base. We're going to try to take you down. They were successful. And so far, that aggression is working out.
So we see Team War have a bit of a delayed start as they forgot the bomb. They still end up getting control of the B site. Not just that, they're also awarded laundry without losing a single player. Post-plant positioning is now 4 versus 4 as they maintain control of laundry and get trophy systems set up. They know the pressure is going to be coming from Art. They know there's still a potential flank coming from the Rock. They shut that down before it begins. And now they're in a stellar spot to close out the remaining 30 seconds of this round.
Oh, careful, Harry. Yeah, you gotta be careful of the van. Nades are flying. Journey. Bullets will work as well. 3 versus 3. Journey, so aggressive. Throws shoulders, but doesn't do enough. Josh cuts down 1, rotating it, and Orglis hold the line, and they get the round.
That's right. Being given so much real estate on this map right off the start, even after your delay, is all that they needed to get the bomb down on B, get set up, and just close it out from there. They had every advantage to work with right when they took over laundry.
The moment Team War slow down, Orglis are able to raid through their progressions a little bit more on the map. Harry yet to find a kill. Lucky, same situation. Invidian, who has been, very much the X factor for Team War in this series, could go down as their MVP if they're able to walk away with this one and go to the playoff bracket tomorrow.
It's 3 on site. It will be met with 3 on defense on the side of Orglis. So, of course, nothing given for free here. Metal's hopping up in the window for this tried and true engagement. Hops right into the window, has some support as well. This is an aggressive push, and they're being rewarded for it. Journey connects with all the shots he needs on his lonesome, and the support from the remaining Team War players is going to be enough to maintain control of Laundry with still 3 players standing. It's going to be Harry, left on his lonesome, 1v3.
When they pulled off the same play 2 rounds ago to start this S&D. Love the call to get the bomb down quickly. Flush Harry out of position with that nade. Force him to play a retake on a 1v3 with the understanding that the AR and Invidian is going to be posted somewhere not moving. Lucky spots him. Invidian knows. This should be the round. Team War showing the same deck of cards, and it works out again.
Yeah, Team War not looking to switch a whole lot up in the early stages of this search and destroy. We saw that as well in the Express S&D, kind of sticking to their guns. Of course, we'll have to see how it unfolds differently here, as we saw in the Express that Team War, very quick-witted. They were able to respond to it. They were able to understand what Orglis was doing and pick it apart for a very decisive victory. Of course, things could be a bit different here in the way that a map like Raid Search and Destroy plays out. So, offensive opportunity here as Orglis takes the bomb towards the B bomb site. They leave 1 player on A. That's going to be Josh, holding the flank. Also set up in case there's an audible called to his side of the map. And you can see Laundry is locked down by 2 different players on the side of Team War. So Orglis not getting aggressive here. They it looks like they might concede this positioning to Team War here shortly. Engagement's going down towards middle map here. Space. Do you think Metals could be the big stop here to stop the pinch coming?
I thought Metals might see the top of Harry's head if he comes off that rock. But Harry able to find first blood. At least on the collapse through kitchen. You got a 3v2 situation for Orglis. I mean, this is where you get bombed down. Why waste this much time? You get picked off from mid. Metals will get traded 2v1. And Orglis will get the round. So I will shut up on the criticism. But still, that bomb was out of position for a bit. However, you're lucky that on the opposite end, Harry is a guardian angel. He takes down Metals and then takes down Journey.
Yeah, and right there you saw Orglis. They had time to work with, so they were sat around Art as Team War was very clearly set up with at least 2 players around Laundry. They were undecided as to whether or not they were going to commit to that B-bomb site because they did have pressure towards middle map. They were also waiting for a flank, some kind of a pinch that they saw coming. And, of course, as it all unfolded there, we found ourselves tied up again 2-2. And now it's going to be an offensive attempt from War. Lucky. Yet to put a kill on the board, but does have a plant to his name. And he will find himself alongside the bomb carrier here.
First blood. Possibly second. Lucky's hunting, though. Says, don't worry, boss. I'll go get it. As Harry backs on up, bomb will go down. Out of position. Who is that? Journey? Journey on a long rotation through Lambo. Depends on how long he takes to get into the play, because if he takes too long, I mean, you collapse if you're Orglis, you get a defuse. This round's over. But I think Journey is worried about nothing. He's worried about players overextending through the back, but he needs to be pushed up with the rest of his team.
He is able to give the information to his 2 players in bedroom that no one's going on the flank, but they could potentially be overwhelmed up front, which is happening as we see here. Vortex is able to come through, find that first gun engagement, and now they just pour everyone through just like that. All 3 players almost survived that engagement, and Orglis ends up sweeping them out of the bedroom for a bomb defuse. 10 seconds remaining on that one.
Yeah, you look at Journey's situation there, and so he's thinking, okay, if they rotate through Zig or if they come from around Spiral, he might catch them, sure. But again, with the bomb down in the situation it was, I'm surely Orglis or Team War knew that Orglis was probably near kitchen or near mid-map. I mean, Journey was not in a bad spot, but with where the bomb was planted in the post-plant positioning for Team War, Journey needed to rotate into that play a little bit quicker. Because if you collapse into bedroom and you clean up the 2 members that are there for War, then it's a 4v1 or 3v1, whatever situation it was on Journey. And he's not going to make that play with a sub. So he needed to rotate in sooner and give them a chance to have that defensive hold in Mansion to really get a shot at locking down the round. So far, Orglis have done a great job of recognizing they might have an opportunity, and they collapse in on it. But first blood there again for War. Let's see if they can rally that into a round.
Team War has Orglis split up across the map. We see 2 players on Laundry here. One being the bomb carrier on the opposite side of the map is going to be Josh, all alone in bedroom. We've seen him play this position before. The question is this time, does he get caught as he tries to regroup with his team? Closest one to him will be Journey, who doesn't seem to be fooled just yet. But he could be caught off guard as engagements go down on the B site. Bomb is down there as well. Let's see what Josh does. He ends up getting the benefit of that flank before quickly being responded to by Lucky. Last gun engagement goes down around Kitchen. Team War wins that one and ties us all up at 3-3. We are at the midway point of this search and destroy here, Space. We've made it all the way to another Game 5 with Orglis on the broadcast. This is one that's going the distance. Team War's bringing it to him.
Orglis. It's always when it gets to these situations where you got 3 rounds in the bag, things get a little dicey. We've been here before. Orglis has been in Game 5s and S&Ds that go the distance today numerous times. First bloods will be crucial. They always are. Who will get it this time? Orglis stacking through courtyard. They have to be careful if they get caught rotating. Even though Vortex doesn't get tagged, you know he's down onto A, so that means the defense must be there as well if they're worried about a flank through pool. So now that they know A is locked down by Orglis, that's when you get the call to go to B and play your numbers correctly. If you get a trade, you get that bomb down, that's a round. This is well executed by Team War. It just comes down to getting first blood.
And they know they don't have middle map control, so that's what the hesitation from planting the bomb up to this point has been about. Lucky seizes the opportunity right now, and now it's all a matter of reading where they're going to come from, mid and where else. 3 players straight through Laundry. Josh is in the front line of that one. He finds 2. Stellar positioning to engage the second player there is going to award him with a double kill. Harry and Josh looking for Lucky, who's just prone right around the corner. He ends up giving them the slip. This is a big flank that he's been able to execute. Absolutely not. Harry turns around and shuts him down. Josh is gonna be able to get the bomb defused, and we see Orglis go up again 4-3.
You know exactly what he was trying to do. You know he was waiting to see, okay, if I get behind him, I wait at the window, I peek the bomb, I get the round. But Josh just shut him down. He said, absolutely not. It was the right play. It was the right play, but bad timing. Yeah, you know exactly. It's the classic. Don't make a sound. Get behind them. Wait for them to make a play on the bomb. Then try to peek, get the kill, dip away. It was well thought out by Team Horror, but man, Orglis with the perfect timing. And they take a round. They're up 4-3. 2 rounds away from sending themselves into the playoff bracket tomorrow.
God, that play call looks so much better when it works. It was the right call. Oh, so we see them pushing towards the B-bomb site. All resources spent towards the B-bomb site, none wasted towards A this time. Josh usually sitting on the flank. We see the tactical start to rein in. And of course, that's going to give Orglis the go-ahead to push up towards Laundry. With this bomb plant going down, they do have favorable post-plant positioning. They understand the pressure is going to be coming from middle map and somewhere else. At this point, it looks like Team War are looking more than comfortable to set up around Art. But it's going to be a 3-lane hit, as you see there, completely spread out throughout the map.
Yeah, if the bomb is planted on Art side, you're going to have to push through Kitchen or peel the ARs off the back. I mean, you do take out Harry, so that helps. Metal's collapsing in. No quick defuse. Invidian through the back. Gonna cut down Josh, and there it is. You work through the back. If you can't get Kitchen, you try to overextend. And the pinch is here. Do they have enough time to defuse? Oh, Vortex can't win one gunfight. If he waits long enough, he might get lucky to shoot. But even then, you got numbers around that bomb. It's probably not going to happen. Team War tying it up 4-4.
Team War dragging this out to the very end. They are not letting Orglis run away with this Game 5 victory. They constantly bring it back to him. We saw Orglis was in a great position, post-plant position, 4 versus 4, control of Laundry. That's all you could ever ask for on the B-bomb site. Ring as well was reasonably under their watch. But Team War, they still pull through and make it happen. We take a look at the scoreboard. It's going to be Invidian, who was a force last map, topping the scoreboard with 8 kills this time, double positive with a plant to his name as well. And now it's going to be all 4 players from Team War set up towards the B site. Nasty's going to be outnumbered. Vortex is the closest one for support, but if this is an aggressive push, they're going to get overwhelmed and shut down.
It certainly will. And the nade flies out, so you might be looking at first blood of Metals Just throws shoulders effectively. Bomb goes down. You have one working through courtyard. I think that's... Who is that? Vortex? Vortex might be able to catch him. Oh, it doesn't go down. He hopped off the bomb before it went down. He didn't get the plant off, and there's the collapse. Orglis able to find first blood. It does get traded out. That is a mistake, and that bomb is down. Journey picks up nasty.
That's tilting.
The times for that to happen, yeah, that is tilting for sure. 2v2. Josh working through kitchen. Lucky now trying his hand at things. Surely it goes down this time. It will. If Team War don't win this round, oh god.
2 versus 2 on middle map. Team War were in a much better position earlier than what they are at the moment. They do know where the pressure's coming from, though. Pillars, always important to keep under control. But that art positioning is easy to shut down, too, if you're lucky. Great headshot from him right there to set his team up for a 2 versus 1 in the remaining 20 seconds of this round. It's Josh that has to clutch and cannot do so. Team War find themselves at map and series point.
Oh, that was about to be Heartbreak City if they don't pull off that round. 5-4. Team War, 1 round away from pulling an upset onto Orglis. Kicking Orglis out of the knockout gauntlet, out of a chance to play tomorrow in the playoff bracket for the Season 3 title. Look, you say what you want about Team War. Yeah, they've had their woes. Yeah, they haven't had the greatest season, but Enigma and Brody, Infinity, they were right. This team has a way of being able to claw back and find a way to stay in games. One final round is all they need. Will it come down to a first blood? Invidian might get lucky. Vortex spotted. Will they trade him down?
So they know there's one player in the ring here, of course. We know that he's going to be met up with some support here around the corner. At least they assume so, which is why they send players through mid. They're met with no one, as the remainder of Orglis were all around the A site to get the bomb down. They have control of the A site. They have it planted for bedroom as well. So it's going to be so difficult for Team War to come through and try and break this.
Oh my god, what a play. Vortex hopped off the site. It was a fake play. He's in through the back. He played his life perfectly. If he finds another kill, this is the biggest play you'll ever see. This was an immaculate round from Orglis. Lucky last alive. 1v3. That was the greatest round Orglis could have pulled off in the most dire situations. Vortex plays his life on Spiral. It's a fake plant. He's just there for info. All of War thinks that it might be a push, but instead, Orglis slowly rotates out to the opposite side. They go to B. They get the bomb down. Vortex quickly gets out of Spiral, rotates through the back of Art, through the back of bedroom, and he just plays his life outside of Zig. He waits. As soon as bomb's down, they get information mid-map. Vortex comes out of Zig, checks courtyard, finds one kill in kitchen, and works to the back of pool steps. That was a phenomenal round and a call from Orglis. If they win this round 11, that will be the round they remember for the rest of time.
Round 11, Josh on his lonesome bedroom. Again, we've seen it before. Orglis, they're hungry and they're looking for control of laundry, as Vortex is going to be the frontline man, driving straight into the window, not met with any opposition, so that is an understanding to the rest of his team. Be aware of the rotation from Team War here. 2 players middle map, one still on A site alongside Josh, who pushed through. This is the first time we've seen him pull this off in the search and destroy, and if it works around 11, that could mean everything for Orglis here. Space.
Oh my god! They've just bamboozled Team War 2 rounds in a row! Journey gets behind. Bomb is down. Post-plant positioning is going to have to be key. Vortex, huge gunfight, wins it. 3v2. Orglis, 2 kills away from going to the playoff bracket. The greatest bait-and switch you're going to see in Challengers. It doesn't matter. 1 more kill. 5 rounds apiece. All you need is 1 kill with 20 seconds to go. Can Metals clutch? Orglis have numbers. Metals through the back. He's going to spot both. He's going to spot both. Oh, he needs 1 more. No, Harry wins the gunfight. Orglis, they survive the 2 ballsiest rounds of all time. They call it. They get it. They go to tomorrow. Are you kidding me?
Absolutely nuts. Ali, we just saw Orglis pull off some miraculous nonsense here. Break it down for us what you saw.
Oh. I can't even breathe. I can't even breathe after watching that. God, I was
oh god.
literally when they made the rotation all the way around in the back of Orglis' spawn, and then they got to pool, and he was still able to slip right by, and he was just preeming into garage, thinking they went through mid to make a full rotation. I mean, all four players of Team War made the rotation and set themselves up for literal failure. Those last 2 rounds of S&D are the best plays I've ever seen out of Orglis. I mean, I typed it in the chat. I was like, Orglis has become a respawn team. Like, they just cannot win these S&Ds like they used to. And then those last 2, I mean, it was a completely different team. I mean, the bait onto the B site, and then the rotation through mid, into the plant, onto the B, onto A.
That's an overtime finish to remember right there for sure. Orglis really bringing it to them there in the closing moments of their 3rd Game 5 in a row today. I know they're tired of playing Call of Duty. I know they were looking for a swift end, and Team War was not giving it to them.
Dude, I am so I'm not okay. Oh God, that was perfection. Oh, here's the bracket, folks. Who cares? Look at it. Team War, they lose. Orglis wins 3-2, Game 5, Round 11. That was the most masterful back-to-back call I have ever seen in Challengers history. That might go down as one of the greatest calls in S&D history for the Challengers Elite Series. I mean, was it relatively simple S&D counter strats? Yes, but the knowing that you're down 5-4 and then calling that back-to-back, and then just the flake from Josh. And, oh my God.
Shout out to B-Sport. Yeah, we love Josh.
Yeah, dude, my God, that was masterful. And then Metals clutches that 1v2. You're going to hear my fist go through my wall. It's not coming back.
I thought he was about to. They both were going the same direction. That is the worst thing you can do. Game 5, round 11, there's 2 of you left. It's a 1v2. Bombs planted, and both of you jump out of window at the exact same time, and not even one of you looking the flank. I mean, it was set up for Metals to get the 2-piece, but thankfully the van saved them in the middle circle. But what a stressful Game 5.
Yeah, stressful is a good word for it. That's the right one.
That's enough for this, man.
That stressful is the right one.
Oh, I'm dying, but man, that is. Listen, you talk about brackets meaning something. You talk about brackets bringing the best out of teams. That's what you get with brackets for knockout games for the playoffs. Here's a look at the playoff bracket for tomorrow, folks. For Europe, Amelia Strays versus Orglis. May God have mercy on our vocal cords. And Elevate versus Mavericks on the lower side. I mean, Elevate, who many would widely regard as arguably the best standard team in Europe. Amelia Strays is the dark horse coming out in first place in the rankings, but wow. I mean, you talk about a team earning their way to the playoffs, Allie. Orglis just pulled the bamboozle of a century. And their reward for tomorrow is they get to go play the best team in the region. They get to go play Amelia Strays. So congratulations.
So yeah, that's what their reward is on that. Make it through 3 Game 5s and make it through all the way to round 11, and they're like, all right, well, now we get to go against the best team, as if that stress wasn't enough. But looking at the schedule again, I mean, wow. EU region, they have shown up time and time again. Team War, I feel so bad for them just because, they've stuck together, and they've tried to push through time and time again. And they've had these, sparks of hope, but it just hasn't been working out for them.
Yeah, Fox. I mean, let's look at the schedule for today. But yeah, I think Allie's right. I mean, the Team War, there was so much to be desired, so much that we expected out of that group of 4. They underperformed. They get to a point where they're about to win a round 11. We're thinking, okay, yeah, this is the chance. You're up 5-4. We go to round 11. Metals almost gets a 1v2. It looks like things are continuing to align for this roster. And then it doesn't. And they just drop. And now I think you could legitimately have a discussion about, do you keep this same group of 4?
I think it's definitely something to think about at this point in the competition. As you can see, our matches today, Orglis in 2 back-to-back Game 5s, and now we're headed into winners round 2 and elimination round 2 for the remainder of our European region competition for the Challenger Elite Series. And wow, Orglis have made it quite an eventful one. That's going to be it for their region today. But what a way to close it out.
It was an exciting one. Kind of closing thoughts, guys. We look at Orglis able to move through to tomorrow. How do we think they're going to fare? Allie, looking at just kind of starting with you, right? We look at their matchup going into tomorrow. They get to play Amelia Strays. What's one thing they need to work on if they want a chance in that series?
They need to start winning S&Ds way earlier in the series. I think they're just going to start kicking each other again and again. They're going to be kicking themselves by not getting those SMDs early in the series and continuously fighting for that longevity and getting to the game 4s into the game 5s. So I feel like they need to start winning early so that they don't start kicking themselves when they're down. But otherwise, I think they stand a really good chance. You know, Vortex started wake up a lot when we watched him in this series, which is what he needed to do for them to take it. So if they all come on all cylinders tomorrow, it's definitely going to be some exciting matches.
It's, you know, Allie, yeah, exciting is the least impressive word we could use. It's going to be mind-blowing. I can tell you right now, it's going to be unreal. But coming up after this, it's North America, folks. It's what a lot of you on Domestic Turf are waiting for. We got North America coming up in the Knockout Gauntlet very, very soon. But before we get there, we do have to go to a commercial break. And when we come back at 5 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Central, we will have North America for the Knockout Gauntlet, and we will find out which 2 teams will be joining the rest of North America tomorrow for the playoff bracket. Orglis, well, you went to game 5, both series, and you had ice in your veins. We got to see more from Nasty. We got to see more from Vortex, but they get it done regardless, and we will see them tomorrow to see if they can compete for the title of Season 3 champions. Until then, we're going to go to a break, and when we come back, it's North America up to bat.